Oh my God. Oh my God. Nobody panic. I need to figure out a way to put chat on here as well. Let's just do this. Two-person off air. Do I have a box for Morgan? I do not. Hold on a second. You can tell. Oh, there's a box for Morgan. Let's go. I love that. Let's turn that off. Turn that off. Morgan up there. Myself down here. For the first time in 32 years, the Detroit Lions are going to the NFC Championship. Last week, we could say the Detroit Lions had a playoff win, right, Morgan? This week, what else you got? What else you got? What else you got for me?
It's still surreal, bro. Like, I got home from Ford Field, like, I don't know, 20 minutes ago, got all the animals situated, and I'm still just like, oh no, it's just crazy.
It's beyond crazy. Jeremy's joining, so let me set a few things up here.
Let me know when y'all are going to podcast or whatever, and I'll hop off too.
Oh yeah, no. It's fine. It's fine. We'll put Jeremy down there because I can tell they're still at Ford Field. So.
Oh yeah, they definitely.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I got to turn up everyone, including Morgan as well, apparently. So.
Morgan, you were just here. You were like right over there.
I know, bro. I
got home super quick. I was hungry.
I am fueled on like literally 2 bagels right now.
Was it hot where y'all were? Like, is it ever hot up in the press box, man?
They have a air conditioner that blows directly at us. So
Dude.
no, we're always, if anything, we're cold.
I can't tell because I just came off of COVID, so my body temperature is based on.
I'm not even there. I'm hot as hell, but
Where
I
you
think
going?
that's just like anxiety at this point. Like I can't. We were just about to start talking here, Jeremy. And I'm sorry. I'm trying to fix this. More.
That's okay. I purposely came in here and crashed it just to cause more chaos because why not?
I haven't even started recording yet. I don't even know how to record at this point. You know what?
Recording in progress.
Record
That's how you do it.
Here, and we'll just take something out of it at some point and put it together.
Perfect.
Sure.
Eric, Morgan, Jeremy. Last week we could say the Detroit Lions, for the first time in 32 years, have won a playoff game. Now this week, the Lions, for the first time in 32 years, are going to the NFC Championship and 1 game away from the Super Bowl. I cannot put this into words. I did not think that I would be able to do this again this year like this. I did not think that I could stand up here and feel the same emotions that I just felt last week all over again, with even more anxiety, heart palpitations, everything else. Here we are, baby. The Lions can hang their head high as they leave Ford Field and head to San Francisco, knowing that they have defended the den.
Again and again and again, man. What a fucking season, man.
What a team.
I know it's not over yet, but man, that feels like such a perfect cherry on the top of as you said, their home season. This was a game that they should have won. This was a game that they played like they were better than the team, and they were. They got great contributions from both sides of the ball. We finally saw the offense kind of break free against what is a really good Bucs defense. But Jared Goff was electric again in the fourth quarter. I think it was Eric who put out the stats, not this Eric, the other Eric Woodyard. He was like 11 of 12 for 150 yards and a touchdown, had the second highest passer or completion percentage in the fourth quarter of a playoff game ever. It was fantastic. Truly outstanding. And then defensively, I mean, it wasn't perfect. It never is. They're giving up 350 yards every single week in passing yards, but look, it doesn't matter because they're making plays. They're getting off the field. 2 interceptions today, and
huge amount of sacks. Aiden Hutchinson rises meteorically in these playoffs.
Yeah, and how could you not feel awesome for Derek Barnes, a guy that
made me cry. I cried again today.
It was so cool to see him do that. He's a guy that everyone overlooked completely this year, especially once they draft Jack Campbell. He's a guy in year 3. You kind of figured he was permanently going to be a special teamer or backup, and then he has the rough play against Dallas that probably had this not happened, that would have been the play that you thought of Derek Barnes in 2023, but he completely changes the narrative with the biggest play of his lifetime and the play that sends the Lions to San Francisco, man. It was I lost it at that moment. I teared up.
I cried again.
I screamed, which
I yelled in the studio. I roared in the
You-
studio and scared my producer.
I did scream loud. You just couldn't hear it because Ford Field, like, here's the
Yo.
thing. I didn't think Ford Field was going to top last week, if I'm going to be completely honest. And they did.
I did.
They did.
It did.
From
Yeah.
CJ Gardner-Johnson's interception, which I think was the loudest I had heard it
Ever.
maybe.
Yeah.
Until maybe the end of this game. So, man, I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
I was celebrating as soon as that ball
Was
out. Like as soon as he threw that ball and Derek cut under, I was already grabbing Jeremy by the shoulders and shaking him. and Jeremy was waiting to make sure that it was a completed interception.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
waiting for no flags, and then
That was clean.
yeah, it was then you were a little bit more cautious, I think, than I was. Yeah, I think I punched Jeremy in the shoulder one time on the Gibbs touchdown. It was a little hard to keep the emotions in check in the press box today, for sure.
Morgan,
Yeah.
I think I got to give you time to speak because I have some more words, but I want to get to everyone here because this moment is that effing big right now.
It's just crazy, man. I don't think it's really sunk in yet. Like seeing they hit it on the head, Eric and Jeremy, like seeing Derek Barnes make that play was just so cool just because that was huge, man. And that was a tough play to make. Yeah, it's a resilient team, man. For a little bit there was a lot of nervous energy when it was 10-10 for a while and there was stalling. I was like, man, I don't know why. I'll just feel all right. And that's a weird feeling to have, right? Like, go ahead, Eric.
Morgan, when it was 10-10, that's when I booked my flight to California.
You're
Can
so
I tell
cocky
you,
lately.
I think I might actually one up you. I think I might actually one up you. My dad called me after this game.
You're so cocky lately. I love it, bro.
My dad just one upped me in that regard. I talked with him after this game, and he says that if the Lions win next week, he's no matter the cost, he's buying me Super Bowl tickets.
Damn, son.
I mean, we might be able to get press, to be honest. But still,
I was confident, but oh man, go ahead.
Here's the thing. Yeah, Tampa was a much better team than I think a lot of Lions fans give them credit for. Like, let's start there first off. Like, that is a stout. Those two defensive tackles up the front was everything as advertised. The Lions really held fast, but early on the run game, you could tell they wanted to get on the try to pass the ball to keep them honest, and that pressure was. It wasn't as much pressure as what they were putting on Baker Mayfield, but Baker Mayfield himself making big time throws. He's been phenomenal this entire playoff run. But it was hard fought, hard won. My heart was going all kinds of places near the end of the game. I will say I'm glad for Todd Bowles that his decision on the 2-point conversion, which was correct, ends up not biting him anyway. And that's not the story anyone has to talk about. I'm glad that Dan Campbell deciding to throw on the final possession and that going nowhere from Jared Goff isn't the story. It's this. It's this team. It's the whole of it. It's this great game. It's the fact the Lions have done this. Jeremy, we have done PODcast for a very long time. And each year we kind of take the mood of everything before the season begins. And I remember us talking about this. I remember you saying to me, like, this feels different. We talked about it, about how many fans were showing up to Ford Field for the preseason games, to training camp, to everything. This feels different. There's some new energy about this team this year. And that could have just been waffle. That could have just been whatever. We could have just been talking out of our butts, but, on the promise, on everything. But that promise has been delivered. It is being delivered as we speak. And all of that faith is placed in a very good place right now. And I want people to understand this. As we live in this moment right now, live in the moment. Already there will be people who will start to move the goalposts, just as they did after the first playoff win. Already people talking about that we just needed to beat Tampa Bay or else. And it will happen again. It will probably happen again, even though it's up against San Francisco and on the road. But before you do that, live in this moment, celebrate it. I know there's a lot to be said about you want your players ready for next week, but you, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, you are a fan. And you should live in this moment right now because this is unspeakably special. This is something we haven't seen in 32 years. And after everything the Lions organization has gone through, all of the ownership, all of the coaches, all of the GMs, all of the players, you should understand how hard fought this is won, how this just doesn't come about on a whim, that this is special. This is incredibly, incredibly special. And I don't know where the train ends. I don't. It's football. I'd love to say that the Lions could keep doing this, or they'll keep going as far as they can this year, or next year you'll be going even farther. But I can't. But this moment right now, the Lions are in the NFC Championship game. I did not think when we started PODcast I'd get to say that for a very long time. This rules. This absolutely rules. It's the only thing in my head right now. I want to just sit here and think about it for an entire week until the Lions play the 49ers. I just want to sit here and think about it, because once that next moment comes, the moment's gone at that point. I want to live in this moment, because this is what I had a text from a former coworker out of the blue, hadn't talked to me in years, and he's like, this is what every fan dreams of. Yes, this is what every fan dreams of. You're dreaming it right now, Detroit. Come on. This is cool.
And it's so rare to have a season live up to expectation, period, because we all expected the Lions to win the NFC North. They did that against Minnesota. We all expected, okay, you got a home playoff game. You better win it. It's a home playoff game. First one here in 30 years. You did it. Now, to take that and go even a step further, where, we're talking about the conference championship game, man. There are really, really, really talented teams that don't make it there. The Dallas Cowboys have not made it there in 30 freaking years.
We've made it more recently than the Dallas Cowboys now.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
And for the Lions, a team that this was supposed to be the start of their window, we're already here. We're already in the Final Four. And yeah, maybe you lose both coordinators this coaching hire. Am I even thinking about that right now? Do I need to worry about that right now? Do I need to even worry about it down the line? Probably not, man. Because Dan Campbell is the fucking boss. He's going to find someone. He's going to find... And you know what? If he has to take over play calling duties, I got faith in that right now, because that man is in charge of everything we're celebrating right now. And for him to do it on the 3-year anniversary of his opening press conference, it couldn't be more poetic. I couldn't love that man more. I couldn't be more proud of what he's done in 3 years, and man, I'm out of things to say. It's incredible.
I think there's a lot of people that deserve their flowers.
Sure.
The superstars in this game were the rookies, which is just, again, the core players that Brad Holmes brought in. The rookies showed up. Brad Holmes has to be flying high. He has to be, if he's not the favorite for GM of the year, I don't know what you're doing. And then even the national narrative, sitting in the hallway with the national media, they're talking about, boy, what an operation Sheila put together. This is to be able to put together Campbell and Holmes, and then to see for Campbell to be the boss, and for Brad Holmes's efforts to show up on the field in win after win after win. It's an incredible, there's just so many different people that have come together to create this. To be able to create these opportunities, to see that where they've gone in 3 years is really remarkable. And when you look at the fact that they have they got all their draft picks except for a fourth that they turned into a third. They're going to be top 5 in caps, or top 6, I think, in cap spending. They're one of the youngest teams in the league. They're like the 5th youngest team or whatever, 6th youngest team. It's all the things that you would want to say, if I'm going to set up a team for future success, this is what I want to do. And this is going to be attractive to free agents. You have the capital to keep your free agents. There's just everything that you want is lining up. And then to have the success on the field on top of it is just, it's like we're getting our cake and eating it too. It's very surreal.
You know what it is?
That draft pick is going to be 29th or worse, though.
No, don't matter. It could be 109, because that's where he found Derek Barnes.
I will say this. You say about how it's attractive to players too, Eric. I've talked with some former players. They find it attractive too, because it's all we've talked about for all these years, that Dan Campbell's built something where it's like, if you're a former player and you want to be a coach, you want to be a coordinator, come here. Come to Detroit.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
be
that's
part of this
that's Montgomery,
organization.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But, like,
Also,
just even on the coaching end, that's why I'm not worried about Glenn and Ben Johnson as much, because it's like people are going to want to be with this organization.
I trust them too. What did Panay say? We were talking about expectations. What did Panay say? It's time to what?
He always says lock the gates. That's the thing. I'm running with that one every
Panay?
time. Dude's 23 years old and he inspires people like I've never seen before. It's amazing. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I cut you off.
No, that too. I keep thinking about, like, we won the playoff game and he's like, it's time to kick that bitch down.
Oh yeah, foot in the door.
Right.
Kick the bitch down. Yep.
It's time to kick that bitch down. He said it with a straight face. I was like, that's a bad man. Golly.
These guys are just, man. I'm telling you, they're just business in the locker room. Like it's, you would expect them to come in and be like, yes, they're hyped up after a win. And we're going to see the locker room video and it's going to be awesome. Right. But like after like 10 minutes, like of that celebrating and that all that being excited, by the time we get into the locker room, they are all business and they're just like ready to go on to the next thing. Like they expect it to be in this spot, and
killers.
They are as focused as, I don't know. I've never seen teams.
We're going to have to come up with a new definition of lionized at this point, because lionized no longer means this defeatist attitude. It now means like, we're going to kick your ass and then we're going to, straighten our tie afterwards and get back to work.
And that's so cool, Eric. That's so cool on the business thing, because like, working in national media, all that I heard this week was a question of the Lions. This was a big emotional win for them. Is it maybe the moment's going to like hold them back? And I kept telling anyone who listened to me, no, guys, no. Like this, Dan Campbell gets his guys ready. They are dialed in. As you said, this is business. They were never going to let last week hold them back or distract them from the game or anything. They came out here, they knew how tough their opponent was, and they were ready to go at it. They were ready to go at it, from Jahmyr Gibbs to this entire offensive line to every man on that field.
That boy's fast.
It's cool.
Damn
fast. Damn fast for a 12th overall pick. How about that?
I was shaking Jeremy on that run. I mean, like I hit him in the arm and was shaking him. I was giving you the business.
That was
exciting.
That was amazing. And the one he got clipped on the ankle, he was about to take that 70.
Yeah.
That was almost to the crib.
That's what Jeremy kept saying in the first half, was like there were about 3 plays that they were a shoelace away from just being gone.
Crib.
And so it was it seemed like just a matter of time before that dam broke. And damn did hit break.
It did. Oh, I like the dad joke too. That was a good one.
I got dad jokes all day.
Wait, hold on. We gotta save it for Pride of Detroit Direct. All right, this is some subscriber level shit.
We've got some direct coming. Jeremy, are you going to be back later tonight? We'll do POD cast with Ryan.
Probably. Yeah, I would think so.
Like, especially since I apparently have to work tomorrow for some ungodly reason. So,
so you guys are gonna have to like keep the plate spinning for about 3 hours while I get finish up work here.
3 hours? Are you kidding me?
Something like that.
What's the words from Lucha Underground? All night long.
I'll take your word for it. All right, we're gonna get out of here and record our own stuff. But guys, keep the party going. When I come back at 9:30, 10 o'clock tonight, I want to see as many people in the chat. I want to see all caps everywhere. All that.
Eric, you got retweeted by Mina Kimes. What is it?
Did.
Yeah.
I did.
Which one? I need to go peep.
Mina,
Nikki.
it was. Geez, I don't remember which one. Oh, it was the Gardner Johnson after the pick, Chuck and the ball back to Baker. Classic.
Yeah, that's all you don't poke the wild man. That's all
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, don't, like I said it.
He doesn't need
Why
to be
would
agitated.
anyone in their right mind mess with Gardner Johnson? And then
he's crazier than you.
Crazy like a fox. Crazy like a fox.
Crazy like a rabbit.
Yes.
You're obsessed with that. All right, guys. We'll see you guys later.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Guys.
Enjoy it. Flanders out.
Recording stopped.
All right,
There's
I'm
all
gonna
he said.
finish that recording. We're still live. Like, that's enough for me for a post game show. I'll just throw that up somewhere. Let me switch us back.
Oh yeah.
I also need to go. I need to reverse our order a little bit, or actually, let me just reverse this on here. Give me 1 second. Oops,
Ooh.
undo. Me with the layouts being hyper adequate.
Yo, did you see what read Nick's? It's actually readable.
Oh, is Nick's thing readable? We have to go through all the alerts. I'm also so here's the thing. I want to show some videos and celebrations from the from Ford Field and from the locker room, but our post game last time got flagged on YouTube for copyright. So to make Miko's life easier, I don't want to get flagged again because I don't want to go through that and feel bad about losing all of those views. So we'll if I find some stuff and I think it's clean enough to play, we'll play it. But yes, let's go through some of these alerts. You guys on Twitch, and shout out to our YouTube audience watching as well. This is fantastic. I'm gonna keep coming back to that word. This is so cool. I've been saying it for about 2 hours now. I have been saying this is cool so many times. I've been saying it to Mike Rothstein. I've been saying it to my former coworkers. I've been saying it to everyone, and I don't think I'm going to stop at any point. Let's see here. Where did this all start? We went live just about 30 minutes ago? Here we go. Dreskel, 17 months subscribed with us at tier 1. DJ Juan 17, excuse me, the J's throwing me off. 5 months using their Prime subscription, Amazon Prime subscription. You can use it if you link your Twitch account. Jur42, 9 months saying go Lions. Swagakazi fan 1993, 10 months. Let's go, come on. Schmevin, 11 months. Aaron Glenn is the real MVP for the second week in a row. I know people really want to give him the business when a big play is let up. I think there's a larger question about how the Lions have been tackling, and Cam Sutton has really struggled in points, but I don't see those as coordinator or scheme problems. And I feel like, especially in that first half, you cannot ignore, I know it ended on a sour note with how quickly Baker Mayfield carved down the field, but my God, man, the pressure you put on Baker, like the sacks he took, the amount of times you got after him and made it rough for him, that cannot be ignored. It really cannot. It really cannot be ignored.
Sometimes, listen, it's the NFL, right? Mike Evans is an all-pro for the, I don't know how many time, a lot. He's been all-pro several times. They just threw that ball up, man, and that was just he made a play on the ball, right? I'm not even going to blame Cam for the one before the half. That was just damn. Yeah. That's an all-pro making a play on the ball, and it's just, it is what it is. But yeah, I was happy that they shifted away. They weren't leaving dudes on islands anymore after the first half, which I was happy to see. Because you can't, Evans is too big and too good of a route runner for anyone to really, if you're not Sauce or Jalen Ramsey or one of those dudes, you're going to have problems with Mike Evans, right, Chris? That's just how it's going to be.
Yeah. Real quick to Jay Russ, Mike Rothstein, shout out to him because he's reached out to me. He's allowed to think about the Falcons beating the Lions. He's just trying to be an opinionator there. He did not ever say that Dan Campbell was dumb though. Let's keep the slander off Mike's name. He's a fantastic dude. Dr. Detroit 17 giving out 5 community subs. Big West 15 giving us 100 bits saying we earned the right to play for the effing Super Bowl. I mean it. I did not. I was gobsmacked when my dad told me that. And my dad used to be a St. Louis Cardinals fan and forswore the NFL when they left for Arizona. He came back a little bit when Joe Montana was for the 49ers, but I feel like I've reversed it. I've turned a lot of my family into Lions fans. And for him to say that to me feels really... I will be in Vegas if the Lions are in Vegas. Bet. One way or another, I will be in Vegas. Yeah, Detroit.
I'll be at Ford.
What's that?
I said I'll be at Ford Field next week. JT Sam, do we run cover 1-3 a lot? They mix it up, man. And I saw someone else having Cam Sutton on an island. You're gonna have to play man sometimes. You can't just not play man. You know what I'm saying, guys? There's situations and they're gonna dictate it sometimes. It's one of those things. And yes, the personnel could be better and that'll make it easier. But to answer your question, AG they roll through coverages 1, 3, switch, man. So everything.
Yeah, Detroit gave out 10 community subs. Where else do I go? Kick Punchers with Prime, 6 months NFC Championship game, LFG. Jason F, 65, 13 months. Beat the Niners, let's effing go. Mike Lang, 1969, 7 months. KD from Michigan, All Grit, Go Lions, 40 months. Crook FTW, 39 months. M Pink, 419. I hope that 419 is for Toledo. 17 months. D Terp, 30 months. Thank you, Pride of Detroit. You will be a part of this memory the rest of my life. Thank you. I told Mike Rothstein this just a few minutes ago. I've been DMing with him on Twitter. This is cool. And the fact that I get to do this while being a sports commentator, I've always wanted to do radio in my life. This is kind of like, it's the next best thing, and I love it. But I also get to combine being a commentator with being a fan in this moment. It's so cool. It's I was always told going through school I can't be a fan and a commentator at the same time. Yeah. I feel like people are coming to us because we can do that a little bit. Like, we're not being slappy about it either. We're being as objective as we can, and we can also have these emotions. Captain James Kirk, 200 bits. POD bringing the machine in as managing editor. Lions start winning. Coincidence? I think not. Nick the Greek, 100 bits. Here's what we talked about. Eric got a Mina Kimes retweet. Nick the Greek, another 100 bits. My wife cheated on me with Jahmyr Gibbs, and it made my marriage stronger. We're caught up.
Ultimate Punisher. Yes, exactly. Like, when you blitz, chances are you're going to have to be in man, and if you don't get home, then that's how you get punished. And the watch party, JT Sam, if I'm not mistaken, it's for everybody, not just season ticket holders. But just double check that on the social media here coming up over the week. But I'm pretty sure for everybody. Man, I feel like all my it was just such a ride, dude. And I come home from the games, and I live in the city, y'all. I'm just on the east side, just 10 minutes east of downtown. And I feel like I just have it out of me. I almost need some coffee.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just texting with someone real quick. I also need to go, I've been having to manually turn my refrigerator on and off, so I might need to go start it up here again in just 1 second here. Why don't you keep them busy, take a couple questions.
Yeah.
I just need 2 seconds. Hold on.
What up, chat? Yeah, you know how got here late. What happened? Everything happened. Final Four. Yes. Did we really just win that motherfucking game? Yes, we did. Final Four, man. Sue was working on TV. Thank you, Eli403. It's just a product of laziness, to be honest with you.
All right. Let me adjust my video here real quick, too. I'm just... What can I say, man? This is cool. I'm going to keep saying that. This is cool. This is cool.
Wait, Chris, your picture went away.
I know. I had to adjust a couple things on my camera. Sorry.
Okay. I was not sure.
There we go. I just had to turn up the gain a little bit. I also need to eventually get out of this hoodie because I am stinking it up with my sweat.
Oh, dude, it was so hot in the stands. It's obviously very cold outside.
Our studio is really hot. Our control room is really hot. But yeah, you said it was hot in the stands. I can imagine, dude. Man. Full house. What can we say?
Packed in there. It's hot as hell. Then they kick the air on every once in a while, but what's the score? Because what's the score of the Chiefs-Bills game?
Yeah, we got to kind of eyeball watch this. Are we already skipping ahead to see who we're going to play in the Super Bowl? Is that what we're doing?
No, I just want to know,
Yeah, it's about to go to half. Bills have the ball, 17-13 Bills.
Okay, that'd be a good game. Hey, Morgan, tell us what it was like to be the crowd. Honestly, what Jeremy said, y'all, I didn't really think we were going to get louder than we did against the Rams, but it was louder, and it was consistently loud, and the crowd's doing a really good job of getting quiet on offense, minus some of them starting the Jared Goff chants on offense. I'm like, guys, we got to shush. But yeah, it was electric. The crowd, the Ford Field is truly becoming a weapon because it was when they were on defense, it was consistently 120 decibels. If you guys have never been to a Lions game, there's 2 big video boards on either end of the stadium, and they all, have the decibel meter when we're on defense, and it's consistently 120, 115 to 120. It's crazy. My voice is toast
Yeah,
again. If y'all can't hear.
I've been saying to people, like, at some point we're gonna have to start talking about Ford Field, like we were talking about whatever Seattle's stadium was named at the time. Was it CenturyLink?
Yeah, the Link or whatever. Yeah, that's when they used to get called the 12s. Yeah, and they didn't they build their stadium to be like acoustically sound and stuff
yes,
too?
now that's not a dome, but yes, they basically built it so that the sound would direct back to the field itself. But and like Seattle, of course, took a lot of pride in it, but that place, Detroit, unspeakably loud, and all the story this entire week, the thing that kept getting asked to Tampa Bay, besides apparently some reporter asking Todd Bowles what they're going to do to play in the elements, was basically, how are you going to deal with that sound? They knew that it was going to be loud coming in. They knew how loud it was going to be coming in. You saw them not as tight in the huddle as like maybe as it was for the Rams, but I think they knew how loud it was going to be coming in, and they were trying to plan around it best they could to have everyone on the same page here. And I mean, I really do have to give credit to Baker Mayfield. He put up one, like, that is a guy who has had, we're talking about the renaissance for Jared Goff. Baker Mayfield has had himself one hell of a renaissance here. He finishes, I think, with like a 94.5 passer rating.
He made him some money too, because like a couple of those throws, man, like the throw to Evans at the end of the half, like the one he just kind of threw up there. Yeah, like he got hit, like, because to AG's credit, he was sending a lot of blitzes at him and trying to make him uncomfortable, but
took 4 sacks, and like there was that moment that I was really worried about where apparently that we missed taking him down. His knee was down before he threw the ball, and Dan Campbell the next play came so fast, nobody like reviewed it.
Dude, I thought he got sacked there. I know exactly what play you're talking about. That was in our end zone.
Yes.
And I was like, man, I thought that.
Yeah, next play, it's a touchdown for Tampa. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a sack. Damn it.
But just, again, great back and forth game. And I think, Nolan Bianchi on Twitter had this to say that the Lions have not trailed in a game since the loss to Dallas.
I like that.
Was that true in this game as well? Hold on. Yeah.
We never trailed today.
Never trailed today. People got worried when it was 10-10, but never trailed once again. The Lions even... I think what it was is this was the first time they had their first drive not result in points in a while.
Yeah.
Going 3 and out was kind of rough to start, but interception right after that. Suddenly you're back at it. Trading field goals, touchdown, and that suddenly, like, all of the fury that happens before the end of that half, and Tampa marches down the field to tie it up. It was a well-fought game on both sides. Like, I really do not want to take away from Tampa at all, because I feel like some people will try to do revisionist history on Tampa Bay, just in the sense that they're going to talk about why the Lions aren't that great. It's like, oh, you just only beat, Tampa. I'm like,
dude,
that is a good team. That was a good team. Yeah. All props to Tampa Bay. This was a very hard-fought game for the Detroit Lions. Tampa made them earn this at home.
Yeah, man. And Tampa, like, their defense is legit. Like, the fact that the Lions did run the ball eventually and had some success is impressive. And they were sticky in coverage, minus a couple things where it looked like they just got lost in the middle. But like, yeah, they were sticky, man. There was a reason Saint was having issues getting some separation on the outside. Jamel Dean played a good game. I hope he's not hurt. I know he got banged up and left on the cart. I remember seeing that, so I hope he's not.
There was a lot of injuries, especially in the second half for Tampa's defense, and I think some people will probably talk about that. That's tough. You never want to go out that way, and obviously for the Lions, we have to keep an eye on Frank Ragnow and Jonah Jackson. Frank came back in and played, but you could tell he was going through it in that game. Getting punished in the middle by Vita Vea every play.
Yeah, I hope Frank. Yeah, Frank's going to need a couple hot tubs this week for sure.
Yeah, we'll see about Jonah Jackson too. He went out pretty quickly to the locker room too, but
yeah, I saw that. Unfortunately, it looked like his knee got messed up. This is special.
Yeah. Sorry, let me see.
Pick up.
Here we go. Who wants to
hear? What up, Dan Pask?
You won't be able to hear it, Morgan, but I'm going to play for the stream while we're here, the Dan Miller call of the interception.
Run that thing.
Baker leans in. There's the snap. Blitz comes. Mayfield back, loads, throws. Picked up by the Lions. Intercepted by the Lions. Intercepted by the Lions. Derek Barnes. Derek Barnes. Derek Barnes. Oh, baby. 1:33 to go. The Lions are going to San Francisco. Derek Barnes with the interception. Oh, baby. Stand up, Ford Field. Look at this. Woo! Look at this. First career interception for Derek Barnes, and how big is that?
Yes, man, yes.
What a call. Dan is going nuts these playoffs. Absolutely insane up there. And
I hope
can't
he
think
gets
of a
his
better man.
flowers.
That dude has been exactly everything the Lions want on radio, and I love it. I love it. I love Dan.
I love Dan Miller. I love Dan Campbell.
So good, man. So good.
Nate Burleson just shouted us out. It's almost like, damn, man, it's just a crazy. Craig Reynolds was a plus 1,500 to score today. Whoever hit on Craig Reynolds scoring today, I hope y'all. You might have to call the gambling hotline.
There was I was gonna say one of the shows I work tech producer on is a BetMGM themed pregame show for gambling, and they were talking quite a bit in the group chat about a prop on Jared Goff anytime rushing yards, and that man held the ball and took off. And I think it was literally just I think it was basically like a half a yard was the over under. A half yard over under. Like
you said for Goff?
Yeah, it was something embarrassingly low for Jared Goff rushing yards. And
I believe. I mean, he might have got it on the sneak that they ran. Yeah. He got like 3 yards. He got like 3 yards on that sneak.
Well, didn't he have an open field one at some point? He had the Red Seas parted for him at some point.
Yeah, and the little awkward slide to end it.
Yeah,
you tell. Yeah. I thought wasn't his dad a pro baseball player? That was an ugly slide. We got to work on that, Jared. That was pretty ugly.
Let's see here. But Jared Goff ends the day with 6 rushing yards.
6 rushing yards. Awkward ass slide.
Long of 7. Says he had 6 carries. I'm assuming. Oh, right. They probably count kneel downs in that box score, but.
True. Yeah.
But yeah, he had that long of 7 yards with the. Wow.
Holy Silver Lion LLC. Where are y'all driving to? You have 8 hours left to drive home. That's crazy, bro. Respect to y'all.
Yeah. There was a 3-car pileup on 101. I don't have that long of a drive in LA, but all 6 lanes of traffic were completely stopped on my way home, and I'm just like, oh my God.
Oh hell no.
I'm already coming in late, and we already have lost the moment after this game because I'm working. But, like, I needed to be live. And we need to be live for you guys, and we're going to be live as long as we can. I might have to crack the whiskey at some point.
Oh, for sure. You driving to Iowa? Good man.
I've done that before.
Good man.
When I drove out to L.A. from Toledo, I stopped in Des Moines the first night, Denver the second, Vegas on the third, and then I was in LA on the 4th day. So, no, it's a big old drive there getting around to Iowa. So, whiskey now? Whiskey? I don't know, man. I need a second. I am like deep parched. I've only put some bagels in my belly at this point.
Shout out to Iowa though, man, because y'all gave us Sam Laporta, Jack Campbell. So, shouts out to Iowa.
Iowa, the founders of the feast here. R.I.P. to Caitlin Young. I'm sorry if I've forgotten her last name. The Iowa basketball player. They lost. Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark. That was it. Yeah. She apparently got hit by someone on the when Ohio State stormed the court. That was the lead into the Lions game on NBC.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah. You're Des Moines also? Yes, I am from Toledo. I went to St. John's Jesuit. Yes, I grew up most of my life in Toledo. I wasn't born in Toledo. I was born in North Carolina, but I grew up in Toledo. And I see G Cozy in the chat, and G Cozy, I am 99% certain we went to middle school together. If that's who I think it is. Yeah. Oh yeah, that is you, Grant. How you doing? Love Toledo. Miss it. TOLEDO.
That's how y'all say it? TOLEDO?
That's how you do it for the Rockets, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Very nice.
419.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's
TOLEDO.
man, I miss that food there. I was writing all this week about Vegas food. I have some writing showing up in SB Nation here that I just submitted my first draft over this weekend. Are you doing that as well, Morgan?
No, but Ryan is.
Oh, Ryan
so
was the other one.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I ended up talking with some of my friends in Vegas for a Vegas-themed Super Bowl party menu. And spoiler alert, it went really Guido. It went very Italian.
That's okay, though. Italian hits with everybody.
It went old school. Like, all these guys I talked to, they wanted the old school Vegas, and that meant places where I was picking up, calamari fritti and meatballs and eggplant pizzettes, and should be fun one.
I could go for a sandwich right now.
Yeah, tell me about it. One of my coworkers brings in Firehouse subs right before she starts her shift. Firehouse smells so good.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Smells.
Don't talk about food.
Yeah, I'll try not to. I'll try not to.
Oh.
I know you're hitting that. You're hitting that, and here we are.
I'm so tired.
Hold on, baby. Hold on.
Dan, yeah, I'm down to get on the podcast. Also, someone up there said, "Don't forget David Montgomery, Iowa State," and he was right. So shouts out to Iowa 3 times.
Iowa State.
I'm gonna come visit Iowa one day.
No, wait, Farmageddon's a different. It's Cyhawk, but I just know some of the guys call it El Asico.
Wait.
What's up?
Wait, hold on.
What's up?
You're talking about
Iowa versus Iowa State. It's called the Cyhawk.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, they're the Cyclones.
Cyclones and
Hawkeyes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Chris was a mainstay at the Toledo Olive Garden while you're here. Your family, that's a good one. Yeah, Detroit.
I hate you so much.
That's good shit. I don't care who you are. That's good.
How dare you? The real Italian place. Well, actually, they closed down my favorite place in Toledo. It's either Inky's or Inky's or Chow's. Inky's if you want good pizza, Sunday gravy, the red sauce. Chow's if you want the traditional Italian food. Although,
dude, I would dummy some Morgan sounding like Saturn.
Morgan sounding like Saturn.
Mancy's
is good too. Mancy's is good too, but I gotta tell you, if I'm gonna pick one Mancy's place, it's either the original steakhouse or the Blue Water Grill is fantastic. Fantastic seafood. Not as good as Real Seafood. I think Real Seafood's my favorite place, but if you want really good just fish off the grill, Mancy's Blue Water, that place is fantastic. But the Mancy's Steakhouse is the classic place in Detroit.
Do they have a tour of Italy and in Olive Garden?
Oh, shut up.
I'm just fucking.
I will fight you. I will fight you so much.
I don't eat Olive Garden. I look. My favorite place in Detroit for Italian is Mama Maria's lately. That place I sent you that one time in Slack, and you were like, "Oh damn, this does look good." Yeah,
Yeah, I had some other people asking about food in Detroit this week, and I forgot about that. The only one, my brain, as soon as you say food Detroit, my brain defaults to Sweetwater Tavern, and I just don't think of anything else.
I love Sweetwater, but they hosted a Rams get together last week, so I'm a little mad with them. Me and Saturday Isaac, we're trying to put together a little guide for when the draft comes, so people can look at it and depending on where you are, group it by neighborhood. So we're working on that right now. That'll be pretty cool.
Tony Pacos, man. Tony Pacos is unique to Detroit. That is, I don't even get the Hungarian hot dogs when I go to Tony Pacos. You know what I like? Chicken paprika. Load up some proper chicken, dumplings, all that sauce. Even better than the hot dogs. I said it.
Sweta was talking about Indian food when we were during the game, and I was like, "Damn, that sounds good too."
Everything sounds good right now, man. there's a Euro place near me, and I might actually order them on Grubhub to just get that shit delivered here, so I can pig out while I'm doing all this for the next 4 hours or so.
Are you really about to keep the ball in the air till y'all podcast?
I do. I always do. And I will find stuff to talk about. We'll watch some videos. Lord knows we got to go to the Dan Campbell press conference at the end there, talk about that. We got plenty of other videos to get to at some point, too. I'm hoping more people will stop by as well from POD and just drop in while we figure out the POD cast. But if not, I've also got the post-game podcast to come out tomorrow, too, so we'll have that. Let's see here. Derek Barnes. A lot of people doubted us. A lot of people wasn't on the train. A lot of people hopped back on the train, but we know who you are. We know what we can do, so we'll continue to prepare for next weekend. We're ready to go see San Fran.
Holy
Usually,
shit. It still hasn't even sunk in, bro. I'm just like, what the hell?
Yeah, Barnes.
They're in the Final Four, man.
The four best teams.
Cozy said Dan Campbell was exhausted and tearful. I want to see that because I feel like crying again.
Yeah, let me see. Let me switch over the layouts here a little bit. Let's go to the Zoom layout. Oh, I don't want the draft night layout. Jeez, hold on.
Please no. Oh God, that gives me anxiety. We haven't done anything for prep, bro.
For a draft.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? We don't need to because we're still trying to figure out where the Lions are going to pick.
I know, but it's like I'm talking about like where we're gonna have this party and stuff. Like I'm just like, oh
shoot,
man.
That's right. It's in Detroit. I completely forgot it was in Detroit.
That's what I'm saying.
I have to come home for that. I have to shit. I think what dates is that? Because I just realized I think someone else at work who's also a Lions fan is trying to take off for the draft, and I realized like I haven't said yes or no yet, so I might have time to like turn that down.
You better, bro. Morgan, talk about BB, Dan Pass. Brian Branch. There's a world in which Brian Branch is a all-pro at nickel for like the next several years,
good.
right?
It's in April. It's in April. They wanted me to work in March, so
okay, good. 25th through the 27th. Shout out Dustin Whitehead 96. But yeah, we're trying to work out a draft week party, Dan. We're trying to come up with.
I want to have logistics so we can even do a live show from there. I don't know if it's even possible. I'm trying.
That's what SB Nation wants. Jeremy said, right?
Yeah, I want to get the tech together for it. Like, I need to have some conversations with some people, but that's the plan right now. Like, we've had such a year. We've been able, and like now it's going to be no matter what, man. You might have to wait till almost damn near close to the end of the night, and who knows if what moves Brad Holmes is going to make because he's shown you he loves moving up and down in there, but like. Who knows what moves he's going to pull, but you're going to be happy most of that night. Anyway.
Oh, always. That man has so much equity built up for me at this point, but yeah, I'm to your point, I'm excited. We don't even got to think about that.
Both these guys have so much equity in my mind. Like, let's see here.
100%.
Lions Bucks division round post-game show. Okay, I'm going to share this. Can you see the video?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. How do I hold on. Oh, right. I have this tab muted. Give me 1 second. Unmute tab. How do I like hide this thing at the top? There we go. I'm just move that out of the way. Okay.
You know, I mean, here we are sitting, one of the last four teams. That was, that's the type of game that I envisioned against Tampa. I mean, that's an outstanding team. It's a hot team. We knew it was going to come down to the end. Baker, I thought, played really well. I got a ton of respect for Coach Bowles and what he's done. We knew that was a tough team. That was somewhat a mirror image of us. So we delivered body blows, and ultimately we did what we had to do to win that game. But I mean, there's nothing easy about it, and to be able to win in the playoffs and do what we did, that group of guys, we get guys like Frank, man, battling for injury, get back out there and help us win a game. It just, it speaks volumes to type of guys we got in the character. And, Derek Barnes comes away with a huge pick there at the end, game on the line. And, I thought our defense played outstanding. We gave up a couple of things, but ultimately, man, we did what we had to do, 2 takeaways. And offensively, we knew we had to be patient against that defense, and it paid dividends in the second half. So really proud of everybody that's a part of this.
What did change offensively midway through the third quarter, whatever? You just were touchdown effort, not moving the ball right before that first.
We knew we needed to come out and throw it against this team. We need to be efficient with the pass, see if we get some explosives. We weren't able to do that. Second half we were, and then we were able to lean on the run a little bit. Once we felt like maybe we could loosen them up, and Gibbs breaks one there at the end. So those were pivotal for us. But ultimately, we knew it was going to be that type of game, and it was, and that's playoff football.
Obviously, you don't care where the play comes from, but for it to come for Derek Barnes, a guy that's really fought to carve out a role for his team. What does that mean to you as a coach?
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud of Derek. Derek, he's one of our guys that we drafted in the first year here, and he was a later bloomer guy. It took him a little bit, and then he really came on this season, and he's playing at a high level. And just to see him, one of the biggest areas he's grown at, not only just being able to, his level of play on defense, but his psyche. Something bad happens, something doesn't quite go the way you want it to, man. He's able to bounce back in a big way, and it doesn't affect him negatively, man. He keeps going. That's where I feel the most growth, and it's why he's playing at a high level. But that was what a huge play.
Okay, I know you probably don't know, but it's 3 years to the day where you had your introductory press conference and you came in, you set your expectations. For you to leave your imprint on this team the way you have, man. I know you haven't had time to reflect on it, but just over this span, man, being able to do what you're able to do and capture this position that you're in right now.
Look, I got a lot of really, really outstanding people around me. All right. And I'm fortunate. And it takes a village. And without everybody involved, without Brad Holmes, without Sheila, Rod, Chris Spillman, without Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, Dave Phipp, I mean, you don't, I'm fortunate.
Could you have imagined this 3 years ago to be one win away from the Super Bowl, today?
I envisioned that we would have a chance to compete with the big boys, and that's where we're at. All you got to do is get in, and it's about placing yourself the very best position to where you can move. You get a home game, and then maybe you get a second home game, and now all of a sudden it gets a little easier. If you're able to get a 1 seed, you only got to win 2 games, right? And so that's always the objective. But ultimately, once you get in, then it's about matchups, and you find a way to win. And you may have to win 2-0, and it's okay. It's okay. A win's a win in the playoffs. So, here we are. And now we get to go to San Francisco, and, we know what kind of team that is, but we're in a great position. We've got a great opportunity.
Dan, can you at all share some of the emotions since you knew you won this game over the last 10, 15 minutes, just the zillion thoughts going through your head?
I'm exhausted. I didn't even play. So.
Dan, that first press conference has kind of become legend. Recaps, all that. Initially, though, there was a lot of what did the Lions hire with this guy? Do you hear that then, and what do you think?
You're probably one of them. To each his own. We're going to the NFC Championship game with that group of guys. All right, and they love football. They play football, and that's what they respect. And they respect their teammates, and not anything else. And when you're able to, to care more about the person next to you than your own, about yourself, you can do some pretty special things, and that's where we're at with this group.
Dan, on one of your biggest gotta have it plays of the season, 4th and 1, you went to Craig Reynolds. That would, I say, unexpected move, I guess, from the outside. Why Craig in that moment? And again, what did it mean for him to deliver?
Yeah, he was in that package. So, I mean, look, we got a lot of faith in Craig. Craig's a good downhill runner, and it was kind of what we had packaged for him. So it wasn't, it's just one of those things. It wasn't, I wouldn't read anything into it. It's just, if you're asking if we trust Craig, yes, we do trust Craig Reynolds, I mean, so heck of a run. It was well blocked, too. Those guys surged up front. It was just all the way around, really good.
I was going to say, you mentioned right now early, he had to keep blocking that play. I don't know what he was fighting through, how much pain he was in. He saw trainers come over to him so many times when he went off. So just to make the block that he did and to play through what he did today for you guys.
Frank's a stud. That's what he does, and he's willing to lay it on the line, and he's not going to miss it. He's gonna if we talk about all the time, but it's like, man, you may not be 100%, but if you feel like you can produce, you can win at 80% of yourself, and that's what Frank does. He believes he can, and he trusts himself, and he trusts those guys next to him, and it's just there's nothing easy about that. Not everybody can do it, and that's okay, but he can, and he helped us win today.
And the way that Goff and that passing game is going now, do you feel like at some point you're going to have a burst like you did in the second half like that? Like it always seems like it's just waiting for one of those 60-yard drives and big passes.
Yeah, I think we know it's, we know if we're not quite there, it's coming. It'll come, and that dam will burst. We just gotta continue to harp on the little things, clean up, a few things here and there, and but it'll come. We always feel that way, and I think there's a lot of trust in that regard. I think Ben did a hell of a job calling the game, and those guys held on, and Goff fourth quarter he really showed up there, and made some big throws, and we knew we needed to throw the ball to move it today. That was, we went out there to Tampa, and I've said this before. It was like swinging a sledgehammer against a steel door. I mean, we were just over and over and over, and so we knew we needed to loosen them up before we started to run it, and we did that.
Yeah, last two, Brad, then just try to build our team like our city, and it could become an ugly cliche. 3 years into this thing, where do you stand now? How were you able to really embody a city that's been creating something like this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I quite understand the question.
Everyone always talks about the grit and the
Yeah.
spirit of the city and trying to embody the blue-collar work ethic.
Well, I think it's important, right? You can't. I don't know if it's it's not the first thing you think of if you go to L.A. or just in general, right? You got the sun, you got the beach, you got plenty of other things going on, and here, man, it's harsh winters, right? Auto industry, blue collar, things aren't always easy, and I just think that's that's what we're about, and that was. You want something the city can be proud of. Though you can look at those guys and say, man, I can back that guy. I can back that team. I can resonate with those group of guys. They're kind of salty. They don't quit. They play hard. And so I feel like we've done that. And I think these guys, they have a kinship with this city in this area. And they love it, man. And ultimately, that's what you want. Now, a year from now, 2 years, we'll be getting booed maybe. That's a whole nother deal, though. But right now, life's good, and I'm glad we could deliver that.
Never go like I can't finish. So is there an early update on Jonah and then what you thought of Yodi stepping in there?
Yeah, I thought Yodi stepped up. That was good to see. I mean, heck, we went right in there, and I think we had a 5-step drop first play out of the gate, and he just went in there and did really good. So Yodi's continued to get better, really, over the last 2 years. He's just kind of grown and grown, and last time we played Tampa, he was in there for us. So. But I thought he did some really good things. Jonah and Brock, we'll see. Doesn't look real good for next week, but we'll see.
Dan, a lot of young players are counted on this team for you to win, guys with no playoff experience whatsoever. Now they've got 2 games under their belt, and they've won it in pretty dramatic fashion, the first game and this game here. How much do you think that experience is going to help these guys going forward? Because now you're going up against a team with a great deal of playoff experience on the road.
Yeah, I think every time you're in it, especially now that you're in this one season right now, and last week there was, there's a little bit of nerves and the environment, the setting, there's a little bit of pressure, but I felt like we've handled pressure really well all year, and so, You get through that when you get this one, and we've been able to just stay focused on the one in front of us, and so it's not as big of a deal, I think, as people may, place on it. We've got enough veterans here that know what it looks like, coaches, and our young guys have adapted. And really, we've kept a one-game mindset. Like, here we go. This is the one right in front of us. And just like we did all year, you win 12 games, you had to prepare a certain way. You had to do things a certain way in the game. You take care of the football, you get takeaways, and we do that again. You keep it that simple. If you start really honing in on everything that, you've accomplished or what you've done or the magnitude of the game, well, that's where issues begin to arise. So we've been good. All right.
All right. I know there's some other stuff in there with Jared Goff. I want to take a bit of an interlude, show a couple things. Speaking of Jared Goff, here is the next gen stats that I just saw. That Jared Goff was blitzed over half of his dropbacks, 52% Lions divisional round. But look at that. Sorry, he was. I lost my point that I had. They was blitzed this many times, but the Lions O-line maintained. Okay, here we have. It's only 5 pressures logged.
Yeah, they're getting the ball out quick. It definitely helped.
5 pressures logged on when you're being blitzed 52% of the time on your dropbacks. Pretty good. Pretty.
You had to be, and for a while the stats reflected that too, right? Because he had at one point it was 15 completions for 99 yards, I remember, and I was like, dang. But they were trying some deep shots. They had the one to JMO out wide that they missed. Quirky Zerky. Yeah, exactly. Made my point. But they were trying, it just wasn't hitting. Tampa Bay was pretty sticky in coverage, to their credit. But when Jared needed to drop a dime, man, that throw to St. Brown couldn't have been better in the end zone. That perfect.
There's already some questions I was getting this week about, or even today before the game, working at Fox Sports Radio, that questions about whether or not Jared Goff should be paid the big extension he's probably going to get owed.
He's going to get it now, and he deserves it.
I agree with you on that front. And I also think that it shouldn't be something too much to worry about in that regard as far as paying everyone else. I don't know if he gets $50 million.
Not 50, guys.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think we need to stop worrying about. I've noticed this. It feels like if you don't come out of the gate swinging with your bona fides as a top quarterback prospect, if you ever falter, like say Jared Goff did in Los Angeles, a lot of people just will never forgive you. They'll never admit that and there's a lot of things that go right for Jared Goff, and he has to prove that he can really, thrive even when he's pressured, even if the offensive line isn't giving him all day and all night. But that's always been the way of all these winning teams, all these winning quarterbacks too. The O-line is that damn important. Keeping any quarterback needs to be kept upright. Speaking of Jared Goff, let me find where Jared Goff speaks, because he was at the podium, and I do want to play that for you. Actually, that's not Jared Goff. That is not Jared Goff at all. Who? Frank. You guys want to hear Frank? Let's hear from Frank first.
I'm good. Good.
Frank, we talked about the injury report, the long list, and kind of the comical nature of it all here, but you did get rolled up on pretty good. Looked not great on film. How difficult was it to play through with what you were dealing with today?
I don't know. To me, the pain, I'm not trying to sound like some brute tough guy here, but I was just more frustrated than anything. The fact that it just, again, but it was tough, but it was worth it.
What allows you to play through that pain? Other people can't, maybe.
My parents, I don't know. My dad was one of the toughest people I've ever met. My mom's one of the toughest people I've ever met. And I just take a lot of pride in being out there with the guys, being out there for the city. They signed me to this extension a few years ago, and I want to be fulfilling that, I don't want to be that guy who gets paid and not doing that stuff, I want to be out there and finding a way to win.
What about the practical? You were down on the ground. Did you think you were going to be out for the game?
I wasn't even thinking about that. I just fucking hurt. Yeah.
Not long after you got hurt, they ran behind you on that fourth down play. Brad, can you walk us through that play?
Yeah, it's a duo play, pretty common play that we run a lot, and basically double team on each side, and then it was me and Vita Vea. So it's kind of just mano-a-mano right there.
Big human.
Very big human.
What are the practical mechanics? I mean, you got hurt. I think there was just one more snap to kneel down, and you got the half touch. What went into the medical aspect of it to get you ready for the second half and that lull there?
Not to get into too many details, but basically the surgeon, the doctors evaluate to make sure it's obviously safe for me to be out there. And then our training staff, I know I've said this time and time again, but they're incredible. And they had a great wrap and tape job thing for me, and it worked out great.
You didn't pull up here to Joseph and hop in the hot tub?
No, I didn't. No. I don't think so. No, I'll be all right.
Can you put into words what this means to this organization to get to this point? I know you're not satisfied, but just where this place has been and now where you're at.
Yeah, it's incredible. You just reflect on, I mean, me specifically, my career and all the tough days and the frustrating seasons where I'm home by now already for 2 weeks, you know, and to be here today when we're in victory formation and looking at the crowd is just, it's hard to describe.
Kyle mentioned that run, Craig's touchdown. I think it was the same drive Brock Wright had the big long catch. I mean, key situations when you guys lean on some guys that maybe a lot of people don't expect. What does that say about the confidence that you had in 1 to 53 on the roster?
Just studs everywhere, just unselfish guys that will put it all on the line for their team, and just pros that are always preparing like it's going to be their chance. And I just can't say enough about so many of those guys in the locker room. There's not many bad apples, just a great group of dudes that are ready to roll whenever their number's called.
A couple more guys. Have a balanced attack, and you're moving on to San Francisco. Just talk a little bit about that victory over Tampa.
Talk about Tampa?
The victory and just moving forward going into the
Yeah. Obviously, Tampa, that defense is one of the best defense we'll play all year. That front seven is incredible. It's we kind of knew going into it was going to be tough to run the ball, and we knew that we, as an offensive line, we were going to have to hold up. I don't know how many times Jared ended up passing it, but it felt like a lot to me. But we knew if we just kept on going and our defense played incredible, we'd find a way, and that's how it turned out.
We know the physical demands.
Last one, Justin.
The physical demands of this matchup with Vea and whatnot, but a lot was put into the mental component of this. Can you just explain what goes into the week of prepping for this team, what they show up front, and how difficult it is to decipher that down in and down out?
Yeah, Todd Bowles is one of the great defensive minds in this league, and he does a great job of mixing different personnel packages looking the same way, and then having different thing happens, if that makes sense. So I got to kind of diagnose what personnel they're in, and then realize from my film study throughout the season what blitzes they've brought out of this year from that personnel, and then kind of be aware, like, oh, like this personnel, they're doing something different, and then, trust your instincts with safety rotation and whatnot. So me and Jared are really kind of playing a chess game throughout the game, and it's a lot of fun. That's the part of the game that I really love, is just trying to diagnose what he's trying to throw at us.
Well, thanks, guys.
Huh? Yeah, just like that.
All right. We'll go and get some Jared Goff a little bit later. Unfortunately, I do believe we are having a bit of a breakdown on. Let me switch back a view. Morgan had to go, and let me turn on my camera locally here. Where is it? I just have to go in and do this stuff manually. This is always funky. We're going to stay live for best we can. We're having a bit of a conversation about when we're going to do PODcast. So it might not be all night long, unfortunately. We're going to see what we can dig up, put together. We'll go back and watch some more pressers because we still have to get to Jared Goff. At some point, what he was talking about. Bring us a reef. Bring us a reef. Invite Jeff Daniels for the break open the Jack. I actually do not, as much whiskey as I drink, I do not like Jack Daniels. And I think I know why I don't like Jack Daniels. I enjoy whiskey sours. And I remember going to a restaurant one time where I tried to tell the waiter that I wanted a whiskey sour, and he started talking about Jack Daniels a lot. And I couldn't get him to shut up about Jack Daniels. I'm like, that's cool, but like, fine, you win. Jack Daniels sour. He brings me a glass of Jack Daniels with maybe like a squirt of sour mix in it. You said the whiskey earlier spouted off the only... No, I totally get it. I understand. I totally understand. I do not have any sour mix made up, but I'll go and throw some... I'll throw something from my medicine cabinet into my Coke here real quick. So, brother kids call Jack and Coke a dad Coke. Let me go see what I got. I might even just grab some like vodka or something. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what goes best in Coke. Where did I put my Lions glass? Put that Lions cup. There it is. I realized about halfway over to the fridge, to my medicine cabinet, that all of my whiskeys are still here next to my computer from last week when I was drinking with you guys. So, let's see. I've got bourbon, I've got Four Roses, and I've got... oh, you know what? I've been meaning to polish this off. This is Akashi. This is a Japanese blended whiskey. Pull it away. It's a little hot on the collar there. It's very good. Why does that keep appearing? Okay. This is Akashi. It's very good. I've been meaning to polish this off. There's not much left of this, so I'm just going to pour this in here real quick like that. I do love Japanese whiskey. Whiskey ginger is top notch. I will say, thanks to Japanese whiskey, their big thing is using Japanese whiskey in highballs, usually with a lot of like lemon or yuzu. Highballs. You know what? I've got some club soda back there. I really should go break that out, but I'm drinking the Coke right now. So you know what? I've got enough here for 2 drinks. I will sorry if you are not a bad influence. I am the bad influence. I am the evil person. The one drinking and corrupting children. Won't someone think of the children? Won't someone think of the children? Won't someone think of the children and Kirby Joseph being a dirty player? We're talking scotch in the chat, too. Not to get too far off, I will take Lions questions as long as we are live here. I'm going to see what our situation is with the podcast and work from there. But if you guys have questions, someone had a great question about whether I would pay either, if I had to make a choice between paying Jonah Jackson or Aleem McNeil. I was hoping to add Morgan before he had to dip out. He had to go get some food. I'd probably pay Jonah Jackson. I think the O-line is the strength no matter what. Aleem McNeil has been good, but I think that he hasn't been like choose him over that guard good for me. Does Houston play next week? I think there's a good chance he will. I think they've been kind of easing him back. I think they will play him next week, but we'll see. I mean, he'd be probably taking the place of Julian Okwara. Jonah Hart, too much. Let me tell you, that's O-line play. It's rough, man. It's rough. Fridge problems. Yeah, so I think at this point, I've got the ice out of there. All I need to really do, it just won't shut off. It gets really cold. So I think the condenser coils are just dusted up. I just need to clean back behind there and see what happens. Gomez. I noticed that. I noticed that other people are doing Honolulu Blue Kool-Aid recipes now. Not the one I did this year because it was over the top. But my old recipe, which was very simple, it was citron vodka, lemonade, blue curacao, and Sprite. And people are now mixing it at other places. I saw, who was it? M Live had someone on to make from like some bar around Detroit that's now making that Honolulu Blue Kool-Aid recipe, and I think that's the final recipe. If other people are picking it up, I won't say that I was the one who invented it, but I also think I was the one who got there first. We need a Honolulu affogato. Oh, man. I do know affogato is on the list for stuff to make for the cooking stream, which will happen after the season. We will do the cooking stream after the season. Affogato, so I'd have to get like a blue ice, like that blue ice cream they use for I saw those Ford Field, not Ford Field, but I saw those Detroit Lions ice cream sandwiches. Yeah, after the Super Bowl. Yeah, exactly. I would do it probably after football in general, and after I've taken a bit of a break. I am exhausted. I've been working a lot at my other job, so I'm definitely going to be taking a break after the season whenever that season end happens to hit. I'm giving Graham the contract, whatever he wants to, though. Yeah. No, Graham has been very vital for this team. I think this team still needs a backup center, but Graham, I think, has been playing very well. That big pass play, to Brock Wright versus the same play as the Jets, as the winner against the Jets. Yeah. That's out of his Ben Johnson's playbook, man. That's out of Ben Johnson's playbook. It's a good one. Who has more grit than Ragnow? I don't know if anyone, maybe St. Brown. St. Brown, man, he's special to me because he's the one who I get to be right about, and I've been right about his entire career. And that matters absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things, but it has been, as with all things I say tonight, very cool to talk about Amon-Ra St. Brown in this way. Chris, you deserve an extension. I hate to tell you, I'm not on contract for anything. I do think I'm going to make the rest of this into a highball because, like, something with Coke and whiskey, it's fine, but it starts to taste almost too sweet. And I'm a guy who likes whiskey sours. Chris gets an adequate extension. Another lead change in Chargers and Bills. Who would you guys rather want to see? Like, who do you guys want to win this game? And I'm not saying because we're starting to play who's going to be in the Super Bowl or anything. Just tell me, because I am a football fan and I want the Bills to win. A lot of Bills. Like, Bills, that is basically your story, Detroit. I love Patrick Mahomes. I love him to death. But I feel like this year I want to see the Bills. I want to see the Bills prosper. Like, they are the AFC version of you, Detroit. Like, they may have gone to 4 Super Bowls, but they've known misery just as much as you. A lot of it for Allen. A lot of people already saying exactly what I told them not to do, to start thinking about a Lions-Bills Super Bowl. Baker said nicer things about the city post-game than Stafford's. Look, here's the thing. I think people have given Baker Mayfield too much crap through the years. I think people wanted Baker Mayfield to fit a specific archetype of a quarterback that they never got. And they never let it down. They always called Baker Mayfield immature and not a leader and everything else. And I never liked it. I thought Baker has always been a quarterback who, when he turns it on, he can be good. And I think he was done dirty in Cleveland, and it pushed him out the door, and it's left him to coast. And I think what I'm proud about for Baker this year, even with the loss that he took from the Detroit Lions, he is someone who is going to get more respect and another big payday at some point. He's proven he can still be a quarterback in this league. He had a rough year with a depleted Rams roster, but like this year, helming that Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense with all those weapons, Baker Mayfield, like, props to him. Props to him. He went out on his shield in this game. Rough way to end it with the interception, but that was coming. The play, I watched the play again. I'm not quite sure what that play was that they had decided to dial up. It was a little odd, but man, like, you guys felt it. Baker made you sweat in this game. He really did. He made the Lions earn it. Mike Evans was built for Baker Mayfield. He's a good story, but I think it would be a mistake giving him an extension. He's done. I don't even think he's under a contract. He's not under a contract this year for. Let me go look up Baker Mayfield's contract. I am pretty sure he's not under contract. They only signed him to, I think, to a 1-year deal. Yeah, this is only a 1-year deal with Tampa. Like, I guess they could franchise tag him. That would be a lot of money. But I guess the question is, like, he does fit with Tampa, but, like, could you imagine if he goes and becomes the quarterback of, like, the Pittsburgh Steelers? Like, Pittsburgh Steelers need a big they need a big-time quarterback badly. No, I think he will stay in Tampa. I'm just saying, like, he should, like, if they don't franchise tag him, he should explore options. Steelers, yeah, that's what I mean, Joshua. Like, they would be instantly competitive with Baker Mayfield. That would be, like, it's not as good of a weapons, but, like, him thrown to George Pickens, some of the other guys they have in Pittsburgh, that is good. And I know I've drifted away from the Lions here. And I'm talking about the other team, but, like, again, I was thoroughly impressed by Baker Mayfield, and I'm not trying to be demeaning about it being a triumphant victor, talking about good game, Bucks and everything, but, like, Baker was impressive this game. He was impressive this game. I am speaking as an NFL guy now. Like, Baker is a story I want to feel good about. Cleveland would love to see him twice a year. Bucks D came to play. They really did. Like, I've not seen that line hemmed up that much. Like, I know people were like, you know, after Rams, it's kind of easy to lose sight of seeing another great defense, but Vita Vea and Kalijah Kancey gave you a lot of problems there. They have been, I know they were only 9-8, but they really turned it on end of the year. They beat up on the Eagles really, really badly. They came on at just the right time. Kancey was a dog today. I really wanted Kalijah Kancey in the draft where he came out. Like, I was a big fan of Kancey's game. I know everyone was saying, "Oh, he's undersized. He's undersized." Who cares? He's got a bright future in this league. He's got a bright future in this league. He's a dog. He's a dirty, dirty dog. That block by Ragnow on the goal line while he's on his freaking knee, that was what Campbell was talking about, if we only had one cheek and 3 toes. I saw that his leg turned down there, and that was whew, oh man. I was worried he'd be out for the rest of the game at that point. He went to the perfect place to be paired with Vita Vea. Absolutely did. Like, Vita Vea, if he can stay healthy for time to come. Now, what's he? He's like 28 and playing with Kancey. Yeah. Tampa's going to be set on that D line for some time to come. I'm excited to see what Todd Bowles can keep doing down there. Was Branch on Godwin because he was non-existent? This Lions defense moves around so much, I don't think a single guy was on a single guy. Godwin was given, Godwin still got 4 receptions for 40 yards. It's definitely not Mike Evans, but he's not the deep threat that Mike Evans is. Like, again, you ran into that Tampa offense resembles the Lions in a few ways. They don't have the run game, but in the passing game, they have multiple options to go to between Evans, Otton, Godwin, Rashad White, who's a good pass-catching running back and still got you for 55 yards or so on the ground. Like, that was rough. Oh, what happened here? Oh, I'm just seeing my timeline blow up about the Bills. What's this? Oh, no, Bills. I'm not watching right now. Was it an audible punt? Audible dong? Shout out to Audible Dong on Twitter. We had another one during the game. Failed fake punt. You're not Dan Campbell. You're not the Lions. Fake punts are tricky, man. Fake punts are tricky. Dan set the standard. He really did. Chris, will the national media stop with Love being top 2 QBs in the NFC right now? No, that will not stop. I think much like Kenny Pickett was last year, he's going to get a lot of love continuing through the offseason. Even though this was really the first year a lot of teams saw him. And look, he could be fantastic. He could just be that awful throw he made ill-advised across his body. I think sometimes in quarterbacks, especially in the national media, in the national sports media, not even the NFL media itself, but the media who covers all sports, your basically what I will call a sports center media or your sports talk radio media, you are really concerned with finding the top quarterback. And if you see a guy who gives you a flash of that and you think you are getting to guys up at the top, the only quarterbacks that matter are the top tier quarterbacks. There is a lot of quarterbacks that work in this league. We're seeing it with Baker Mayfield and Jared Goff. You just have the right place and the right personnel, and they work. And you can't wish cast yourself hoping you're going to always find the same guy. There's not many Lamar Jacksons, Jared Allen, Josh Allen's, and Patrick Mahomes out there. Okay? There's not. What's a cat doing? What is Ruby doing? Oh, he's sitting up on the couch. I know some people wanted Ruby on here, but Cousins too. But Cousins isn't that same guy. Like, he's not. Like, they don't talk about Kirk Cousins the way they talk about. And trust me, if Lamar Jackson loses without going to the Super Bowl, they're going to talk about Lamar Jackson in an awful, terrible way. They're doing it with Dak Prescott, where they're like, you can't win. You can't win the playoffs. You can't win with Dak Prescott. Like, what are you talking about? I would love to have Dak Prescott. Like, look at how people talk about Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is not. Jared Goff is the better quarterback on that field in the NFC Championship game. He is the better. If you want to say this is a hot take and take it somewhere, do it. Jared Goff will be the better quarterback in the NFC Championship game. But people will give Brock Purdy not much. Brock Purdy is playing very well. Don't get me twisted on that. Brock Purdy is playing very well. But you saw what he looked like in the elements. He did not look great there, too. Because most quarterbacks still have games where they are fallible. But the idea that Brock Purdy, the people were calling him an MVP candidate, someone made a boneheaded post last night that I saw saying that last drive from Brock Purdy was the stuff Joe Montana drives were made of. What are you talking about? That drive, he had a couple of good passes, some lucky hits to receivers, and Christian McCaffrey burst up the middle like an alien chest burster for the touchdown. Like that drive there is an ink blot test to see what you see. And if you see a great team working in operation, congratulations, you can sit with me. If you see an elite quarterback in Brock Purdy, I'm sorry, we can't be friends. And I think that's fine. Brock Purdy is fine. They can win with Brock Purdy. And that's the point. That's the point. Just because you don't have a Lamar Jackson does not mean that that's the only quarterback that matters. We make too much of our NFL talk about quarterback versus quarterback. It should not be like that. Look at the whole picture. There are 53 men on each team. There are 22 men on the field at a given time. I'm not saying to be really X's and O's. Even like when you're in national media, you lose some fine detail because you have to break down a topic and talk about it in a way that people who might not be fans of a given team or even a given sport can still follow along with because they're interested in the story of sports. But I'm sorry, sometimes breaking it down a little bit too much into just quarterback versus quarterback and doing these tier lists and shit, it breaks it down too much. What do we do to have to be Baltimore? Well, A, you have to have the defense Baltimore has. And unfortunately, just to counteract all of my point, you have to have a guy like Lamar Jackson. Like Lamar Jackson had that Ravens-Texans game, Lamar Jackson had 100 yards rushing. And like, you can talk about how few air yards he had. He only had 152 air yards. Doesn't matter when you have 2 touchdowns on the ground and you're running. Lamar Jackson is both your run game and your passing game. Even in a game where Houston, I thought, had a lot of the receivers for Baltimore in a box for the first part of that game, he could still find Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman and rip it up. And they still had that defense that could turn a rookie quarterback like C.J. Stroud playing at his level and make him look like a rookie quarterback. Can I spin the wheel? I do not have a wheel to spin. Buffalo's back in it. That was good. It was turned over. Got to root for the Ravens. I'm not saying the Ravens are infallible. I'm just saying, like, the level the Ravens are playing at. Everything I said is true about team building, but when you do have a quarterback like Baltimore has, it is special. You can do special things with that. But I think sometimes we pathologize the Ravens a little bit too much. They are fallible like any other team. They have certain parts that, you will stumble on them. Lions stumbled very hard playing the Ravens to start the year. And they are a very good, the thing that makes the defense for Baltimore very special is just how flexible and how malleable they are. Like, look at a guy like Kyle Hamilton, who I remember when he came out, people kept telling me he doesn't fit anywhere in the NFL. And they took him and they made him fit in that defense in a very interesting way. Ravens have the team and the quarterback. I think that's true. I think that's good. That's a good way to say it. But like, I think just because you don't have the quarterback, I think there are special quarterbacks, there are very good quarterbacks, and then there's the field. I think you have to be good to play in the NFL, all said and done, unless you're someone like, I don't know, Jameis Winston or something. But like, if you are playing in the NFL, like, just because you don't, the tiers of quarterbacks exist, but it doesn't make them all encompassing. Just because you don't have a quarterback in the tier 1 doesn't mean that your quarterback is bogus. Ravens have the GOAT kicker. That is a weapon. That is very, very helpful. That is very helpful when your drive stalls, when you can look to Justin Tucker. It's like 53 yards, no problem. No problem. He won't even break a sweat. There's a lot of small granular things the Ravens do well. And again, I'm not saying the Ravens are unbeatable. I'm not. Nobody is beatable in football. If there was an unbeatable team in football, they'd be 17-0, but they're not. Every team has weaknesses, exploits, and how well you can match up against them. It goes for the Lions too. But it's one of those things that just because I'm giving praise to another team does not mean I am saying I expect them to win everything or be the best. I very cheekily put at Fox Sports Radio, I wrote down that Lions would be the NFC champions because I could not pick anyone from the NFC, and I said the Chiefs would be AFC champions. And then I put down Lions over the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, but in parentheses, actually I just mean Chiefs. But that was my pick before the year. And look, the Chiefs were really up and down this year. Before this year, who thought the Chiefs were ever going to be very beatable? Who thought the Chiefs would be playing on the road to go to the AFC Championship? Bills D needs another stop. I will say this. I was on another show this week that was trying to rank the remaining coaches in these playoffs. And they put Dan Campbell down at 7th. And I think that's wrong. I'm not saying that as a Lions fan. I'm saying that as someone who's talking about sports right now. I think that was wrong. I think Dan Campbell has shown you that he's very, very good. He knows how to call a game. He knows what he has. Man, I really want to turn this Bills game on somewhere. I really need to. The problem is it's on CBS, and CBS does not play well with any of my streaming. And I do not want to try to... here, let me try this. Let me try this real quick. I'm trying to turn on this game, although it's going to be way behind here. But mute this, just make sure this doesn't come over. All right, I just want to be able to watch this here while we're doing all this other stuff. My bad. Let's see here. Any other questions you guys got for me? You need an HD antenna? I do need an HD antenna. I need to. I've been paying Spectrum too much for this box that I don't use anymore. I need to finish this this thing. I need to fix a couple things. I get Chris. I don't know when you would pick the Lions to win anything. The choice to leave, you're safe. I mean, it's just you are now at the point where you are now with the big dogs. You are now with San Francisco. You now are looking at the teams remaining are Detroit, San Francisco, Kansas City, Buffalo, and Baltimore. Those are the best teams in the country. The Lions belong up there, but we also know the Lions defense, all of those remaining things, a lot of guys rooting for the Bills here, and if you want to see the Bills in the Super Bowl, I can understand that, but I could not imagine Josh Allen throwing on this defense. I would be terrified of it. Lamar Jackson's biggest thing is that he now knows how to throw. Kansas City, you stopped him once earlier in the season. Do you think you can get another shot on Patrick Mahomes? This is tough, man. This is tough. Football is tough. Championship football is tough. I'm not saying the Lions are here, but I think the time of the Lions being favorites is now over, and I'm pretty sure that the Lions just opened as a touchdown underdog in San Francisco. MCDC loved having people underestimate him. He does. But this is why I opened up my rant saying, live in this moment right now. You don't know what tomorrow brings. I can't tell you if it's a favorable matchup. I can't tell you if it's like, I can't sit here and say Lions will go to the Super Bowl. I would love to. The fan part of me wants to, because my dad is talking about going to the Super Bowl with me, and I want to go to a Super Bowl. But enjoy the moment, at every moment at its time, man. Football is tough. Junk Trunk, do you think the Lions have what it takes to get here next year? That's the problem, right? You're looking down the barrel of one, maybe both of your receivers leaving you this offseason. You saw how that worked out with the team like Philadelphia. You're going to have to make big-time decisions on contracts here soon for some of these big guys. You have to still shore up the secondary. You might have to make some cuts and cap casualties. It's not you got, like Jeremy's talked about it, but the Lions got lucky in a few places this year. They were lucky, especially on their health, right up until the end of the season. Like, as much as they're still been shifting around with the offensive line, they had Frank for most of the season. They had all their receivers. Jared Goff is healthy. Both their running backs were healthy for most of the year. Took Jahmyr Gibbs some time to get up to speed, but like, you can't. Football is so damn unpredictable. I would love to say it's easy to just be back here next year. But I've learned one thing from watching football for my entire life now, and loving football now for a very long time. Nothing is predictable. I'd love to say, absolutely. I'd love to wave the pom-poms and say, absolutely, the Lions will be back here next year. I'd love to do that. I would love to, because it would be great for me. I would love it. I would love it. I would love it. I would love it. But football is cruel and vicious and a bastard. Healthy teams are the common denominator for all the teams left standing. I believe so. Like, you look at those 3-game stretch where the three straight losses for San Francisco, it's when they didn't have Christian McCaffrey. Like, health is a major factor for football, because the next man up just does not, it just doesn't have to, it doesn't help you that well. Debo might be down next week. We'll see. We don't know if Debo will play or not. It's kind of, Debo is up in the air along with, like, Houston, in my mind. James Houston. Impossible to tell. Possible to tell. Chris needs a warm-up till Jeremy gets back in. We're still trying to see what's happening here. I don't even know if Jeremy's in the Zoom yet. Or no, he's not. We basically, the trio, the PODcast trio, has a massive schedule issue right now, so we're trying to figure it out. But I'm going to stay live. I'm going to stay live because also there's football on, and you guys seem to want to hang out from me. I'm a little behind on my stream here. What is this? I got about, 3rd and 10, 9 minutes to go or so. I really do. Thank you guys on the idea for the HD antenna. I really do need to get one. I've been paying a lot to Spectrum. I kept their cable box because I'm like, hey, I'll still keep the local channels. I realize how much they're surcharging me for that, so I need to get rid of it. And yes, I do need to get a digital antenna, especially with this new TV. I still need to build the stand for the new TV. KC is punting. Wow. Like, I have a Roku stick, but I need a HD antenna too. Once I do that, this TV will be perfect. You've been on a big losing streak. So guys, can you tell me what, make sure you get a powered HD antenna? I will do that. Thank you, Junk Trunk. Thank you. I do feel like we're going to be going back to cable sooner before we know it, just given how some of this shit is working with streaming. Like, right now I'm having so much trouble because CBS just does not like the idea of streaming anything. Like, Fox is fine. ESPN, ABC, fine. NBC, like, as long as it's not on Peacock, I can work it out. CBS, They hate me trying to stream on their just native stuff, man. YouTube TV is great, but they gotta be better live. That's the problem with the whole streaming thing in my mind too. Like, we can't watch the same game together live. It sucks. Last Madden stream sim was trash. Mod didn't work. Jeremy jinxed us. Yeah. Jeremy jinxed us, but the Madden sim was broken. You and I must have different Peacock apps, Texas Wolverine. I've never, ever been able to use Peacock well. YouTube TV is great, but I will cancel after football season is over, $70 a month. Funny enough, I bought another month of NFL Plus just so I could rewatch some of these playoff games. And every time I've tried to stream on there, NFL Plus has tried to get me to pay for an entire year of NFL Plus. And I'm sorry, y'all ain't pulling that shit on me. No, sir. You think I'm going to pay for NFL Plus in the off season? Please. Y'all gotta be crazy. Y'all gotta be crazy. Think I'm going to pay you $17 a month or however much it is a year just to watch a football life? Y'all gotta be crazy. NFL Plus's app is also very bad. It doesn't know when I have a subscription half the time. And then other times it's like, I just don't know how to stream it for you, buddy. Oops, I guess we had 40 minutes idle time there for the meeting. So let's see here. Sorry, I'm like cleaning up a bunch of stuff. I also really need to take a bleep. Tell you what, you want to go? I promised a Jared Goff press conference sound, so we can go and find that. I know it's a little delayed now, since we are killing some time, and I do need to take a bathroom break. Thank you, Buckeye. I love. Thank you. I love streaming. I don't do it enough on my personal time anymore. I've been very busy. I've been working like on average 46 hours since October. I know that doesn't sound like much extra, but there's been some jumps in there too. Let's have you watch the Jared Goff press conference while I go take care of some bodily functions. I'll be back.
What he's been doing.
4 teams left after tonight.
Yeah, I thought that defense, deserves a ton of credit, what they've done all year. And the first time we played them wasn't easy, and this time wasn't easy at all either. And it kind of took until then to kind of break the game open in a way. And they're stingy, man. They're really stingy, and we started to be able to move the ball there a little bit in the fourth quarter, and that final touchdown drive there was big.
3.5 hours probably not appropriate enough time to reflect, but 3 years you guys have gone from one of the worst records in the NFL to one win away from the Super Bowl. Can you just give some thoughts on how you were able to accomplish this?
Oh, that would be hard to do in this setting. But I think it's a credit to all the guys in there. We've said this a million times about how it's the same group. It's not like we've added a ton. It's a lot of the same guys, and Brad and Dan have been very intentional about bringing in those type of guys who can handle moments like today and moments like last week and ups and downs of a season. And I think it's all been intentionally done by them, and we're not here by accident.
You kind of had an inverse game plan today in setting the pass, setting up the run.
Yeah.
Just wondering, that's your bread and butter, right? So the
Yep.
run, set up the play action. How difficult is it to come out throwing against a defense that brings pressure like they do?
Yeah, we kind of had planned to do that because of what they present up front at times in the run game, and so we knew we had to try to get after them in the pass game, and I knew Ben would be aggressive, and I was ready for it. I thought early on it was difficult, and they were doing a good job, but we settled in nicely as the game went on.
When you're in your victory formation, do you give yourself a chance at all to kind of soak up the atmosphere and feel it for a moment?
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed it, and knew it'd be our last one in front of our home fans this year, and took it all in. And those guys are, mean a lot to us as a team, and we're really impressed with today.
Along with that, it looked like Frank hit the game ball, and he ran out right in front of you, or at least hit one of them. Just the old line that you have, the toughness that they have, and for him to be celebrated just as much as you ran out there, can you just
Yeah, he should be. He should be. He's fought through a whole hell of a lot that a lot of people don't even know what he's fought through physically, and yeah, to get himself here, and yeah, not just him, but Taylor, obviously, Jonah. Unfortunate to miss him, but I thought Yodi stepped in great. Graham's played really well, and so has Panay, obviously. And so yeah, it's been such a great group, and we've relied on them all year. And I'm certainly, telling myself how lucky I am to play behind them every week.
What sort of spark did Gibbs give you on that touchdown drive?
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, it was huge. I can't remember how many times we threw it to him, but the run, certainly. That's one of the top red zone defenses in the league, so anytime you can score outside the red zone, it makes your drive a whole lot easier, and he just took it in there from, I don't know, maybe 30. I'm not sure how far out that was, but it was a great run.
Speaking of relying on people, obviously, you get credit, Scarf get credit, Frank and such, but when people like Craig Reynolds, when you can rely on him, when Derek Barnes steals the game with that big guys who want to start, what does it mean to you guys as players, as a team, to be able to know to rely on people who aren't necessarily the
Sure. Yeah, I think it kind of goes back to kind of what I was saying of everyone's brought in here for a reason. And, Barnes and Craig are a perfect example of guys that haven't had the necessarily flash plays all year, but, they've been kind of waiting in the weeds for their chance and practice hard and do everything right and show up on time and continue to do everything right for moments like that. And happy for those guys, man. They deserve it just as much as anyone else, and it played well.
Can you reflect on how much time the offensive line gave you much of the day to, throw?
Yeah, they did a great job. That's a really good D-line. Vita Vea is as good as it gets in the middle there, and those edge rushers are no joke either. So, yeah, our line protected me well and made it pretty easy for me.
Can you comment on the Jared Goff chant, which is apparently become a regular thing
Yeah.
now? What does that mean to you, especially the second week around? Last week was maybe a thing with Matthew, now it just seems to be a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's awesome. It really is cool for me, and I said it last week. I said something I'll probably never experience again, and I kind of experienced it again today. So yeah, those fans are special, near and dear to my heart, and mean a ton to me. The support, and not just for me though, but for our whole team, and yeah, experiencing that is cool.
Along those lines, what does it mean for each person to get back to the championship game, Jared?
Yeah.
Have one game away from another Super Bowl chance.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. We joking after the game. Ironically, the last time a lot of us played in it was against each other. It was me, at the Rams against Dan with the Saints. Anzalone was there. Aaron Glenn was there. Yeah, so it's exciting, and not just for me, but for our whole team. And it's something that we've it's not. I don't want to say like this arrogantly, but we expected to win the first game. We expected to win this game, and now we get to go to a game we expected to be in against a really good team at their place, and we're going to come into it expecting to win. It'll be a tough game, but it'll be fun.
Jared, one thing Coach Campbell was asked about was how today's the 3-year anniversary of his introductory press conference, and I know that the job is not finished in your eyes, but 3 years later, for you guys to be in this position, when a lot of people have doubts about your head coach, about you, about this team,
Yeah.
how does this moment feel?
Oh man, it feels pretty good. Dan's the greatest leader I've been around, and has cultivated this culture we have, and our belief in each other pretty significantly. And yeah, you think about the dark times there early on in 2021. A lot of people calling for his head. A lot of people in this room calling for his head. And it's pretty good to be able to sit up here and be able to play in the NFC Championship. And yeah, it feels good.
A couple more guys.
Marin Catholic, what'd you say? Sorry? Yep. Yeah, it's awesome. I went to, that's what was my high school. So yeah, I guess maybe you're asking about going back to the Bay. I'm sorry, I didn't hear your whole question, but. Yes, yeah, sorry. I got you. Yeah, it's nice to go back there in front of my friends and family, and in front of a lot of my loved ones, and play in a place I've played a bunch of times, and I know this team's really, really good, so it's going to be a challenge, but yeah, it'll be fun for me personally to go back there, but it's about our team and getting the W.
One more on the Campbell introductory press conference. You obviously weren't thinking about being here. You weren't in the picture yet. As a guy that wasn't expected to be here, did you catch much of that? Was it a talk with players at all?
No, I actually didn't. I didn't know about it until I got here. But yeah, I did. I'll finish with this too, and I didn't get to say it, but I want to give a lot of credit to Aaron Glenn tonight. And I know you guys didn't ask me about our defense, but our defense played their tails off, and he deserves a ton of credit for what he's done these last handful of weeks.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Okay, sorry, I'm back here. We do have a bit of a update. So to put things short, there's some equipment issues and there is some energy level stuff that happens. We can't do a full POD cast tonight. I am indisposed tomorrow, so what we're going to do is we're going to record a second part right now, just me, of the post-game show podcast. That will be on your feeds tonight with my thoughts, with Morgan's thoughts, with Jeremy's thoughts, with Eric's thoughts. That will be up there. You guys will have that. You will have that. Consider that your version, your first look at the POD cast. And you know what? I'll throw in a Righteous Felon read in there for you guys too. Tomorrow, you'll have Jeremy and Ryan and giving their thoughts and breaking down this game a little bit further and starting to set up for San Francisco. That's the plan. Not a big... I don't like that I only get to see you guys a little bit, but part of that's on me because I took up a extra shift here, and long story short, I'm going to be working late until very late on Monday night. So I'm not going to be available. So what I'm doing is I'm starting a recorder right now. We're starting a recorder right now. On the side, we will have the post game that we did earlier in the podcast. And I'm going to try to give my thoughts on how this stuff broke down right now. And we'll do a solo one and put that up on the feed. So give me a second. I got to get in the headspace. I do these no notes. I really should have notes. You really should have notes. Chris, what radio do you host and can it be found online? I am not hosting any radio show right now. I am a technical producer for Fox Sports Radio, which is on iHeartRadio affiliates. You can find it around the country. They have an online web app that you can listen to. I'm a technical producer on the weekends. I work on the BetMGM countdown shows. These aren't speaking roles, mind you. These are technical roles. I play music coming back. I am basically an audio engineer. I get to talk every now and then. A lot of it, what I get to do is on the Red Zone Radio is the name of the show on Sundays. I also work on the Jonas Knox Show, Monse and Bolaños, and what's the other one? Why am I? Oh, Up on Game with LeVar Arrington, TJ Hushmansada, and Plaxico Burress. I do not speak on many of those. I used to do some stuff overnight where I would get speaking roles, not so much now. One of these days, I want to have my own show. It's what I've tried to train up to be doing. Because as much as I love talking to you guys about Lions, I like talking about all sports. All sports. It fascinates me to no end. You can, however, join me on the Twitch streams, which hopefully once these things die, once my work dies down a bit, I will be on twitch.tv/nodecaf. Not NFL, but what you think about the coaching change for AS Roma. I'm sad to see it happen. I don't quite understand managerial changes very well in soccer, but it felt like it was a mutual decision. It felt like it was mutually decided that it was time for Jose Mourinho to move on. They have I think like the third largest wage bill in Italy right now. Roma does for their roster, and they're 9th on the table. I will respect Jose Mourinho for bringing Roma its first European hardware in that club's history with UEFA Conference League trophy. I know it's not the Champions League, but I will take it. But I think it was time for all the sides to move on. Would I go for another city to do it? I'm currently in Los Angeles. The thing is, for any city I would go to, BYOD, you would have to cover the local sports. And I wouldn't mind doing that, but my interest has always been either Detroit or National. Detroit or National. I could probably do another. There was a time when SB Nation cut me, and I thought about doing other cities, but it's hard for me to think of something else, and I don't know if I would ever get in with Detroit radio. I would love to, but If someone offered me tomorrow a chance to join any of the Detroit radio, I would take it. And I'd represent you guys up there. Anyway, I've got the recorder rolling, and I want to get this going. Actually, wait, I need the drive. I need my drive. I need the Righteous Felon reads. Before we continue here on the Pride of Detroit POD cast / post-game show / something / Pride of Detroit podcast is brought to you by Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. It's the jerky that fuels your Detroit Lions to another playoff win. They're going home and enjoying meat. Righteous Felon Jerky and meat sticks are available to Lions players at the training facilities at Allen Park. And trust me, they're going to be taking that jerky on the road as they head to San Francisco. Each 2-ounce bag of jerky has 16 to 20 grams of protein. Each stick has 8 grams. A lot of protein in that meat. If it's good enough for the Lions, it's going to be good enough for you too. Righteous Felon, based in Westchester, Pennsylvania, locally sourced, all-natural Black Angus beef, the best kind of beef. Prides itself on superior quality, revolutionary branding, and unique flavors that go beyond your stereotypical jerky offering. RighteousFelon.com. Use our promo code POD15 at checkout. Get 15% off your order. Taste it. Believe it, man. We don't hand this out. We don't talk about Righteous Felon like this if we didn't believe in it ourselves. We have enjoyed their snacks over the years. RighteousFelon.com. Use the promo code POD15, and you can see why we, too, believe in the power of meat. And now, if I may continue along here on the post-game show, I talked a lot about how much this means to Detroit, how much this means to me, and how much this means emotionally as everything fit together. This was an anniversary for Dan Campbell's introductory press conference. It was an introductory press conference that was demeaned upon, that people looked at and thought that Dan Campbell wasn't serious. We knew the vibes back then, and we wanted to run through a brick wall for him. And if this game did not evidence the toughness of this Detroit team, I don't know what does. I wrote about it after the Bears game. I wrote about how toughness is something everyone talks about, but few really live up to its tenets, and sometimes we offer it in absentia or in, not absentia, what am I saying? In a vacuum. We offer it because a team wins, and we just say, oh yeah, they're tough. Lions won, but please trust me when I tell you they're tough. Jonah Jackson, hopefully we will see more of him, but that man is tough. Frank Ragnow, who left this game, played against Vita Vea and was in a war out there nonstop today, was tough. Very, very, very tough. He is the linchpin to this Lions offensive line, and it is different when he is on the field, and you could tell it. Brian Branch, tough. Jahmyr Gibbs, tough. None tougher than Jared Goff. None tougher than that man who went out there and had yet another game where I just could not, I had to sit here and go, wow. The way we talk about quarterbacks in the NFL can be pathologic sometimes. And because Jared Goff showed you that he failed once upon a time when he was the quarterback in Los Angeles and continues to make doubts upon him. And I get it. Sometimes you wonder what he is when he doesn't have the perfect pocket. But right now with the personnel the Detroit Lions have, he's the perfect man for this team. Is he Lamar Jackson? Is he Josh Allen? No. He's a different style of quarterback. He's a guy who runs your offense and runs it really damn well and makes deep and can sometimes take some deep shots. They were trying to find Jamison Williams out there. They were finding some long shots there to St. Brown. He can get the ball to where it needs to be in a given moment and run the offense. That's special. That's all you really need to keep going, because you will find people who look at like someone like, say, Brock Purdy and just see an MVP candidate because all they see is the quarterback. The quarterback is the important engine to your offense, but it's not your offense alone. Unless you're someone like, I don't know, Lamar Jackson. You have to be able to run the offense. You have to be on the same page with an offensive coordinator. That's a skill. We'll see what he is with a different offensive coordinator next year. You have to be ready to know how to call out the blitzes. Like, the blitz came an inordinate amount of time from Tampa Bay in this game. Only 5 pressures. Now, part of that is on the offensive line. For the Detroit Lions, it is world class. But for Jared Goff, he knows how to call out those blitzes as he sees them coming, identifies them, and the offense is able to pick them up and adapt. Only pressured 5 times in this game. We now know our 4 finalists in the NFL playoffs. It is Detroit, San Francisco, Kansas City, and the Baltimore Ravens. The Detroit Lions can say they are among a exclusive company. All those other teams are well lauded, well decorated, and well respected by media across the country. The Detroit Lions are just getting here. But rest assured, when I tell you everyone notices this team, you will hear the words America's team, and there will be a lot of people who want to take on the energy of the Detroit Lions, because why wouldn't you? This is such a feel-good story. If you are an uninvolved fan without anyone else to root for, why wouldn't you root for the Detroit Lions? Why wouldn't you root for Dan Campbell and Jared Goff and Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Taylor Decker and Brian Branch and Afatu Melifonwu? Think of all the stories we've told you about here throughout the year on Pride of Detroit. All the times we've highlighted individual stories for these players. Those are stories that are all across the country on every football team. But it is the way you put a story together. It's a way you mesh things together in a very specific order that makes it so damn appealing. And this team has been appealing, top to bottom. It's been appealing from the moment I listened to Dan Campbell. He wasn't your hot shot coordinator. He wasn't someone who was going to be buttoned up. We tried that with the last guy. But he had a passion for this team, and you could hear that in his voice after the game. This meant a lot to him. He understood the weight that was upon his shoulders for all of this. And last week could have been special, and that could have just been it. You get that playoff win, 32 years. Said last week, Demon was slain. You didn't have to hear about that ever again. You were groovy. You didn't beat Tampa Bay with house money. You didn't need to. You believed in yourself, and you believed that wasn't the ceiling last week. That was cool. A lot of people wondered if this was going to be an emotional come down for the Detroit Lions. Like, they finally got that monkey off their back. But let me tell you something. That was emotional for the fans, and I was still feeling it up until Sunday. But for the team, no, of course it wasn't. Why? Because Dan Campbell got them back to work. Not only did he get them back to work, he got them believing in themselves, understanding, and you could see it top to bottom on this team. When it was go time, it was go time. There wasn't any thought about last week whatsoever. They wanted this game. They took the Tampa Bay Buccaneers seriously. They planned against it. And yes, it didn't always look pretty. There's no denying that going into San Francisco, the Lions secondary remains, their defensive backs remain a giant liability. I don't think that's on Aaron Glenn either. I think Aaron Glenn coached a hell of a defense in this game. You're not going to stop every drive. To say that you were would be demeaning to Baker Mayfield, a man who puts in a ton of work over there in Tampa Bay, who's revitalized his career. And if I have to applaud anyone who isn't a Detroit Lion, it is Baker Mayfield. That man went out on his shield, even if the final play was not what he wanted. But man, when you're pressured into all that, sometimes it's going to happen. Even Tom Brady had turnovers, man. Baker Mayfield was fantastic. And you sacked him 4 times. You got two turnovers off of him. And outside of some drives where he was able to get into rhythm, You put him off his game. You held the Tampa Bay run game, which wasn't great, but I think they wanted to try to run the ball. You held them under 100 yards, and there were some breakdowns on it, and that's fine because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are allowed to have a good team too. They have a playoff win this year. They're a good team too. Don't let anyone try to tell you that the Lions took on an inferior opponent here. The Buccaneers deserve to be in Ford Field and take on the Detroit Lions. They did, and they just came up a few plays short. That's football, baby. I'd love to tell you that the Lions were dominant. I'd love to tell you that it was no question. It wasn't. I do think, though, the final score does not indicate how well Detroit handled the second half of this game. Really handled the fourth quarter. This was one of the best fourth quarters I've seen. And Detroit's had a lot of fantastic play in their fourth quarter. But they came out of that fourth quarter, they were rocking and rolling. They had the drives that really, really got them going. They had 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter that really put this game away. You could tell as they came out of that malaise, when in their 17-17, there was no doubt in your mind that they'd be able to get this thing going. None whatsoever. They knew what they could do, they knew what their strengths were, and they leaned on it. Everything this team got questioned for in a lot of different ways. Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, picking him at 12. Those questions have been answered. Lions fans, I said it before and I'll say it again. Live in this moment. I can't tell you what's going to happen against San Francisco. I'm too much of an emotional guy sometimes like that. I could analytically break down San Francisco for you. But honestly, it's Sunday as I'm recording this. I'm celebrating with everyone on twitch.tv/Pride Detroit and at YouTube at Pride of Detroit. I don't want to. I want to enjoy this. Because while I could be the analytical side of it, I want to be the fan right now. And I can tell you from my entire life of being a fan, I did not see this. I haven't been able to enjoy this. And this is cool. I'd love to tell you the Lions would be right back here next year with an improved defense and a CB1 and Jared Goff playing lights out. I can't. Football is a cruel, vicious sport where things change year to year. And that's why I tell you right now, live in this moment right now. You're going to San Francisco and you're about to hang tough with a team that I think you can hang tough with. Not just because San Francisco looked shaky against Green Bay on Saturday, but because the Detroit Lions hang tough with every team they have played this year, with maybe the exception of the Ravens game. The Detroit Lions can show you that they're not an out. And with the stakes on the line, with the game on the line, even on the road in San Francisco, and I expect a lot of Lions fans to make the trek out to San Francisco, you will be America's team next week. That's not a good thing. That's not a bad thing. But take that energy and keep it at heart. Because I think this team, even being America's team, you're just going to get the same Lions out there doing the same damn thing they've been doing all year. Winning, baby. Winning. This has been the Pride of Detroit PODcast post-game show. We'll have Jeremy and Ryan here to give their thoughts on another stream coming up on Monday, podcast probably on Tuesday. Until that time, I'm Chris Perfett. Find me on Twitter at Chris Perfett, Perfett. We'll see you Starside. Whew, okay. I've been in my bag on these things. Oh my God. My nose is starting to break down too, so I'm actually glad we got this done. Let me see, where's my raw folder? I need to clean up my files again here. Let me save this out real quick. No POD tonight. No. I do not think it's going to happen. It won't be Tuesday either. I'll talk with them tomorrow. We'll see. Just tune into Pride of Detroit on Twitter. We'll get you an update then. Plans change. It just yeah. Go take a break and get some food. Thank you. Yeah, I've just had. Let's see. What's in my stomach today? I have this. I have a Ghost energy drink. I had a breakfast of orange juice and a McMuffin and 2 bagels. Later on, that was my lunch, was 2 bagels with cream cheese, poppy seed, and everything. Yeah. Oh, Monday night. By the way, guys, I just got to say, love the football that's left. Excuse me. There's only 3 games of football left. Which way do you think the line moves through the week? Let's see. What's the line at right now? Is it Lions? Let me look on DraftKings real quick. Oh man, my nose. Lions are right now a 6.5 point underdog. I kind of expect. So this was something I didn't want to talk about on stream a little bit. I do not think, Dustin, it will go down to 5. That would be a massive amount of movement. I do expect it to move down to 6 at some point. I talked about it a little bit on my stream. I know nobody wanted to listen to me on it, but someone in Lions media did try to gin up a someone on there tried to gin up outrage about a particular sports book by the name of book handicapper by the name of Christian Cipollini, who was on ESPN talking about how eventually, they take a lot of handle on the Lions, but eventually they need the Lions to lose, was the quote. Now, I'm not a huge bettor, but I have lived around sharps, wise guys, and professional gamblers and bookmakers for about, I would say, probably, I don't know. By the way, Jeremy is going to join us again, so we'll fire this back up. Hold on. Wait, no. Sorry, Jeremy's going to join us here, so we'll keep going strong. But anyway, so people tried taking that quote and trying to run with it to say that there's something corrupt going on. That's not true at all. That's how those guys talk. But the important part I wanted to hone in on there is that Michigan is such a particular market for bookmakers and handicaps who are now running a nationwide network and Michigan market tends to bet on their own teams, and they bet heavily on their own teams, which means the line can move because of the Michigan action. Italians covering for Italians, come on. Vegas is very Italian. All right. Jeremy's going to join us here. We'll have him on for a little bit. I've got a lot of different pieces for the post game now, so we're in a good spot. I'm just going to move the Raws over to here. So I missed that entire game. I saw something about a wide left field goal for Buffalo. Oh, no. Oh, no. Or was it wide right? Wide right. Oh, my God. No. No, 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 no. That's rough. You guys know this was basically Mahomes' first real road game. That was Mahomes' first real road game. I want you guys to know that. All right, let me switch over here. The views. 2-person off air. Let me change. Oh, wait. Oh, my video. Hold on. I hate this setup. I keep forgetting I need
Sorry.
to... No. It's my video camera. It doesn't let me switch them over very easily is the problem.
Yeah.
Let me swap you back on and take Morgan off. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great, man. I could probably be spending this time writing or getting some much needed sleep, but I don't want to be anywhere else but right here, right now.
Hell yeah. I appreciate you, man. Let me just blow my nose real quick.
It's
Do you want to record something, or should we just talk? Like I recorded the solo part.
Let's just hang. Let's just hang.
Okay. I
Let's
recorded another solo part, so we've got like 40 minutes for the post-game show. So we have the part you, me, and Eric and Morgan all did together, and we have the part that I recorded. So
great.
And then we'll figure it out. Either we'll record Tuesday with all three of us, or we'll record Monday with just you and Ryan. Either way will be fine for the people.
Yeah, AP Rambo, I'm gonna be covering an NFC Championship game. That's pretty fucking cool.
It's really cool. I'm still gobsmacked by what my dad told me, because half of that was I'm like, Dad, that's a lot of money, Dad. That's a lot of money. Like, first place my brain goes is like, oh my God, please don't spend that money on me. Especially since I didn't even think at the time like I could maybe get a press pass for it. But the other thing that was going in my mind after that was he's talking about the Lions in the Super Bowl. One win away.
The moment I started actually believing, because I'll be honest, like during this entire playoff run, I've never even thought about the Lions going to the Super Bowl. It was all about knocking down the playoff drought. It was all about knocking off the
recording in progress.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna record this anyway, just in case I want something off of it. But
yeah,
let's see here. Off air, let me try to get everyone set up. Oh, we're all in. No, wait, I gotta turn off Morgan's.
But like, I had not even considered this team capable of winning the Super Bowl until last night, watching that 49ers Packers game. And part of it was like, if the Packers win that game and there's an NFC Championship game in Detroit,
Jesus,
I'm not sure that team's going to lose that game. But even so, even with the 49ers pulling off that game, they certainly didn't look, unbeatable.
The weather will be better in Santa Clara next week, but
yeah, let's hope for not the rainstorm.
But I think even without that game, football is like, this is who the Lions have been. They've, except for that Ravens game, they've hung tough. And maybe the second Bears game, they hung tough with everyone they've met.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, we'll have
it's
to
going to be a game.
We'll have to see how Ragnow and Jackson are feeling for next week.
Well, Ragnow said he's going to play. Dan Campbell said doesn't sound great for Jonah.
Okay. Still, I mean, it feels like that promise is true. Anywhere, anytime, they can play a tough game, man. Might not always win it, but they can hang with anyone in this.
It's a one-game tournament now to get to the frickin' Super Bowl, which
is a one game to win it.
and listen, say what you will about Brock Purdy, but I'd rather go against him than any of the AFC quarterbacks to get to the Super Bowl.
Poor Buffalo.
I don't care about Buffalo.
No.
Sorry, Matt Warren, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I don't care about Buffalo.
I really want to see Bills. I want to see Bills Lions, but man, why? But like, to lose like that wide right, that's like Jeremy if I said the Lions are going to lose to San Francisco on a 10-second runoff.
Yeah.
How's it going, Ryan?
It's going good. How are you guys doing?
Out of my mind, dude. Out of my freaking mind. The only thing in my belly has been 2 bagels and an energy drink all day, and I do not feel like a moment like stopping.
Like stopping to eat?
Like stopping talking about this game. I will eventually go eat, but like I want to keep talking about this game. Like I keep using the words, this is really cool, and I want to live in this moment.
You're living in it, dude.
Yeah. It's pretty surreal. Like, I think the thing that was most bizarre for me is that right after they won, I just like got in the car and went to the grocery store and like started walking around and being like, "Oh, this is what it's like to walk around in the grocery store with your football team being in the conference championship game." Like, and then it was like, "Oh, this is what it feels like to put your cart in the cart corral at the grocery store when your team's in the conference championship game." Like, "Oh, this is what it's like to make a left-hand turn back onto Dixie Highway when your team's in the conference championship game." This is cool.
Whole new set of firsts.
Yeah, it's just like it doesn't stop.
How often?
It's kind of the gift that keeps on giving.
How often do you have this where a guy comes in and like says he wants to turn this thing around, and he does, and you're suddenly blinking and you're staring at it, and it's like, this isn't a fluke. This isn't like it's lucky in the sense that every football team to be good has to catch some luck in a given season, but it feels real in a way that nothing else. We all said it before the season, Ryan. Like, this feels special. Like, Lions fans are realizing something special is in the air. We can't quite put our finger on it, why it's so different from past years, but it is. It is. And they're leaving Ford Field, heading out to San Francisco to play for the NFC Championship.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the thing that's really jarring for me is that, you know, people keep going back, and especially I think people are taking notice of the draft classes and the way that the Lions have stacked, you know, year after year after year with players that are contributing. But it feels like this quote unquote, I mean, the rebuild, whatever, but it felt like it's been a year and a half. You know what I mean? Like the Lions, it took them forever to win a game in 2021. And then it was midway through last season before the Lions caught fire over 10 games and went 8-2. So like it's been percolating, but just at a moment's notice it was boiling.
Yeah.
And it hasn't stopped. The conference championship game. And like the field goal posts just keep on getting moved, and it's just such a satisfying feeling knowing that like you can hold your football team to a set of expectations and they meet them and surpass them and keep on doing bigger and better things. It's like, who knew? Who knew that the team that you watch could do this?
It's, to me, what's truly remarkable is that all this is happening at the beginning of the window. Like, this was the Lions' first real shot at making a playoff run. And I think most of us assumed it would be like, oh, cool, get a round or two into the playoffs, and wow, great progress for this franchise. They're not done. They've gotten there, and it's not just like, okay, well, that's a cap on year 3. Like, no, they're like, we're here. We're a game from the freaking Super Bowl now. Why would we stop now? Why would we be like, it's fine?
Like, look, you never know what next year is going to bring either. Like, Lions could lose both their coordinators, going to end up like Philadelphia, looking a little bit more like Philadelphia or something. Like, you don't, but the point is that you never know, and you should always seize that moment when it does come up.
Oh,
like,
yeah, there's
the
nothing
Lions
wrong
aren't
with
acting
seizing the
like
moment, living the moment.
The Lions aren't acting like this is their window just opening up. They're acting like they belong here and they should be playing for the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yep.
Incredible feeling.
How fucking cool is this? How cool is this?
Yes, I'm going to San Francisco. To people who are asking,
You're going to San Francisco?
Yeah.
Hell
I bought my plane ticket this morning.
Wow.
Guys, I'm not fucking around, all right?
I don't think Ryan's heard this yet. My dad has told me that doesn't matter the price, but the Lions win next Sunday. He's buying Super Bowl tickets.
Wow, that is not inexpensive.
Yeah, that's why I don't want him to. I almost don't want him to do it. What are you showing a blurry thing? Oh, there it goes.
American Airlines, 9:46 a.m. DTF SFO. Y'all don't believe me? Y'all don't believe me?
What's Duke Cannon Supply Company? What is that?
That's like body wash and stuff. I once won a bunch of free shit from them, and I'm now on their email list.
But to say, are we about to have a new sponsor? We have the time, by the way, 3:30 p.m. on Sunday. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me try that from East Coast time. 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday, January 28th. Lions at 49ers. Breathe it in, man.
The thing that Jeremy was saying that I wanted to piggyback on though was this team like not being complacent with where they are in this season right now. That's what Dan Campbell said post game, right? He's like, "Do you guys know what you're capable of?" Like, It feels like Dan is just like. I love how Dan like hypes up every team they play. Like that, I feel like that's such a nice like coaching move to just be like, dude, do you know how hot that team was that came in here? And it's like, no, not that you just did it once, but you've done it twice now, 2 weeks in a row for the hottest. Like he makes them like out to be like they're like heavyweight contenders, which it's what it is in the playoffs. Like he said, do you know how hard it is to win in the playoffs? And like,
do you guys?
You can get the sense from him making those impassioned speeches, like. I feel like that's almost coming from him as like a player perspective.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like you want to give Tampa some credit too. Like Tampa came on at the right time this year, and Baker Mayfield, I thought, went out on his shield. Like just kind of, he was big time in that game up until the final interception. You guys mentioned the post game. I haven't shared it with the class yet. Want to play the locker room celly?
Sure. They also just dropped, if I'm not mistaken, the Dan Miller call of the interception.
I've played it a couple times already, but we will play it again.
I haven't heard it yet.
Oh, you haven't heard it yet? Okay.
No.
Give me 1 second. I have to figure out how Zoom works.
All right. Well, while you figure that out,
I've got it. I'm sharing it right now.
Okay. Never mind. Make sure you're sharing the sound too.
How do I share sound with you guys?
It should be on the like little bar underneath everything where it says like you're sharing your screen. There should be more options or view options. It's and then
more.
You click that.
Okay.
Share sound.
Share sound. There it is. Okay, cool. All right, here we go. That good?
Yeah. Change the screen for the people.
No, it's on the right. Oh,
you
right.
You guys are unbelievable.
Yeah, sorry, I completely forgot we had the layouts. My bad. Desktop. Okay, here we go. Sorry.
You guys are unbelievable, man. I'm telling you, we talked about it all year. This started a long time ago. You're built for this. You're built for this, man. And look what you guys did. You went out there, and it's another hot team that we knocked off. It's the next hot team that you knock off. Do you know how hard it is to win in this league in the playoffs? Do you understand what you're doing right now? What we're capable of? That's 2. All right, that's 2. We got 2 to go. With a bye in the middle. I'm unbelievably proud of everybody in here, man. Coaches, players. That's a way to mount up, man. That's a difficult team to beat, man. All right, I got 1 game ball. Man, in the game, need to play. Derek Barnes.
I'm so happy for him, man.
Hell yeah.
Hey, man, love y'all boys, man. From the support in the linebacker room, the coaches, staff, organization, offense, man. 3 years, man. It took me 3 years to get the first interception. But But it means more because the people who believed in me.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
a lot of people didn't the room. This ball, you know, I got to give it to the linebacker room because I said we was gonna bring one back, and God, we did. And you gotta believe how far we can go, man. Believe it now. Believe it now. This is a good win. Enjoy it, man. This comes once in a lifetime. Like Alex used to tell me, man, a lot of people don't make it this far, but we did, man. I love everybody in this room, man. Everybody in here deserve it. That's why we here, like Coach said. Hey, man, time to prepare for San Fran.
All right, here is the Dan Miller call. Let's hear it with video. Oh, this is a shorter one. I had a much longer one we had somewhere else. Anyway.
Baker leans in. There's the snap. Blitz comes. Mayfield back, loads, throws. Picked up by the Lions. Intercepted by the Lions. Intercepted by the Lions. Derek Barnes. Derek Barnes. Derek Barnes. Oh, baby. 1:33 to go. The Lions are going to San Francisco. Derek Barnes with the interception.
All right, I think I've got a slightly longer one. Let's see if this one works. I can move this over here. I think ESPN had a slightly longer one version of the call. This might look bad, though, but...
Baker leans in. There's the snap. Blitz comes. Mayfield back, loads, throws. Picked up by the Lions. Intercepted by the Lions. Intercepted by the Lions. Derek Barnes. Derek Barnes. Derek Barnes. Oh, baby. 1:33 to go. The Lions are going to San Francisco. Derek Barnes with the interception.
Lomas, just no other words.
Oh, baby, stand up, Ford Field. Look at this. Woo! Look at this. First career interception for Derek Barnes, and how big is that?
Yes, man, yes.
55 dropping back into coverage.
Let me tell you, we have a lot of big fans on POD staff everywhere around Detroit. People who live and die with this team. I don't know if a man lives and dies more with the Detroit Lions than Lomas Brown. That man's all heart.
I think that was the first time I've seen the end zone angle of the Barnes interception. And that is fucking teach tape, man. Like it's dropping back, shuffling, reading the quarterback's eyes. That's some beautiful, beautiful linebacker tape.
Beautiful.
Oh man.
This was fun.
All that is just, it's so perfect. It's so perfect. The speech. I mean, like that Dan Campbell speech is like he's literally like astonished by what they're accomplishing. Right? Like that is the vibe that he's giving off, is just like, you guys don't even know how hard it is what you're doing right now. Like, you guys are too young and too naive to realize how phenomenal this is, how ridiculous this is to be doing this now. Like we just said, this is the first year where they're truly truly expected to at least just hang with the big teams. And they're not just hanging with the big teams. They're knocking them down, and he's just astonished by it. Like he's trying. It seems like he's just like sitting there shaking them and just being like, "Do you understand how special this is right now?"
That is like when people talked about the credentials of Dan Campbell when he was hired. When people worried about they didn't have the coordinator background. What about that credential? What about that credential that he knows exactly that, with how long he worked with Sean Payton, with all those teams under Bill Parcells he had been on? Like, what about that? Because he knows that from firsthand experience, how hard that work is to get to that moment, and and that is a gift of communication, to tell people exactly that. Do you know how hard this is? Sometimes we forget about it, both as fans, because I know plenty of fans who were already penciling in who they wanted to play in the NFC Championship and not giving Tampa Bay where they're due. And plenty of people in national media who just, like, you see it every time the Cowboys bomb out, right? Like, people don't understand how hard it is to get a playoff win, far less get multiple playoff wins. To put an entire 17-game season on the line for just win or go home.
Bills didn't make it this year.
Wide right. What you got, Ryan? Ryan's just veg.
Yeah. The Bills game was, it felt like it was in the Chiefs' hand the whole time, right?
I didn't get to watch a lot of it. I was streaming, so
it almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a lot of the stats were, the Chiefs had 8 plays of 20+ yards and the Bills had 0. The Chiefs had like 43 plays on offense if you take away their kneel downs.
Mm-hmm.
And on like 24 of those plays, they got first downs. Like they were like the better football team tonight. Yeah. But what a matchup that's going to be in the AFC, though. Like Mahomes and Lamar that's big time.
Great. That's
prime time stuff.
Nolan Bianchi had this.
Jared Goff, Brock Wright, not that.
Brock Wright.
Brock Purdy. Shut up.
Jared Goff's the better quarterback on that field in the NFC Championship game.
I just care who's going to have the better team. I don't care.
Yeah. No, it is the better team too, but can we talk about Nolan Bianchi had this stat, and I giggle when I see it every time, that the Lions have not trailed in a game since they lost to
the Cowboys?
The Cowboys.
Oh, shit. I didn't realize that.
Once again, and I'm sure if we take the Cowboys out of that, I have to go back through several games and see. I don't think they ever trailed against the Vikings the first time.
I don't think so.
I can't think off the top of my head.
I certainly didn't against the Broncos before that.
Let's see. Play-by-play, was there ever a time the Vikings led in that game? Yes, there was. They led 21-17 before Detroit answered with the touchdown.
I do kind of remember that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that sort of stuff is huge at home in a playoff game, right? I think it was maybe one of the talked about things in that Rams game is that because the Lions came out firing touchdown on offense to start that game, the crowd was in it. The crowd was rip roaring and ready to go for that entire game. And while it wasn't quite like that today. They start 3 and out, but they get a defensive stop and then kick a field goal. Crowd came ready again, man.
Yeah, it's the aggression that to get out there to that start. Like we see it. Like I've had some people asking, like, why are the Lions, like, even when they're winning the toss, they're taking the ball first? Most coaches are deferring because they want the ball to start the second half. The Lions, I think their identity, their game plan starts with that they want to be able to attack first. They want to set that. We've talked about it before. They want to set the tone. They want to set the pace. They want to get the first look on offense.
Yeah, Listen, I've always been for taking the ball first. I know there's this idea of, like, we want the ball and start the second half. We want that, we want to maybe have a chance to end the first half with the ball and start the second half with the ball. Nah, man. I say get out to as early of a lead as you can. Dictate the game. Take the opponent out of their comfort zone. Take them out of their game script. Try to pour on as much early on as you can, because that can change the trajectory of the rest of the game. I don't care who gets the ball out of the second half. You jump to a 21-10 lead, like, you have changed the ball game and the trajectory of everything else that comes after it. And so if you can put that extra pressure, and listen, the defense is playing its ass off. They got off the field 6 times today, 4 punts and 2 turnovers. You'll take that 10 days out of 10, but at the same time, man, this team is going to win football games by hanging 30 on their opponents. And if they can get off to an early lead, I'm telling you, man, that puts their defense in a much better position. So
there's no better case study of that than the Saints game. Like, that was like the quintessential, like, oh, Detroit just pile on points in the beginning and then hold on for dear life.
Yeah.
Like,
that was the Rams
I think
blueprint.
Yeah, I mean, just the Saints game, they scored 3 touchdowns in like 7 minutes or whatever. Like,
yeah. Because I think they also know they're going to make those defensive adjustments in the second half too. Like, I know there's still a lot to be done with the defense, but you want to see what that team has, who their great weak strengths are, test your blitzes early, and then by the second half, you know what's going to work, and you can start taping down. We've seen that, we saw that in the Saints game too. Like, I know they gave up, points there and everything, but I mean, Vikings game went that way. Rams game went that way. Like, once you know what set to exactly your point, Ryan. Like, get points, make them play from behind, and you know exactly what their strengths and weaknesses are going to be in the second half.
What's up, Brett?
Brett in the
How's
chat.
it going, buddy? Yes, sir. Brett, what's your early prediction for Lions 49ers? You don't have to answer that. But I love you, buddy. Thanks for stopping by.
Someone was demanding Arif Hassan get in here. I'm not sure what that was about earlier, but man. Also, shout out to Cynthia Freeland. I might have to try to get her on the podcast here in the off season, but I know NFL Network was there. What's that bar right across from Ford Field?
Elwood?
Yeah, the Elwood. I think NFL Network shot their pregame part of their pregame show from over there. And Cynthia was over there. She does a lot of stats for NFL Network, but she's also been a lifelong Lions fan. And yeah, this is cool, man. Seeing all the Lions fans out there. I remember when I was telling people about Lions fans at the start of the year, to some guys in LA, and they were just like, I'm not going to lie, I didn't even know the Lions have 100,000 fans. Like, dude, like, they wanted a winner. What can I say? You can call that a bandwagon if you want, or maybe just people wanted a team they could believe in. They got a team to believe in.
I wonder what Santa Clara is going to be like.
It's going to be a
wonder
lot
how
blue.
many Lions fans are going to be packed in there, man.
We'll be able to tell red versus blue pretty easily, won't we, Jeremy?
Yeah,
it's not going to be like
we
a
will.
Chargers game.
No, I'd love to say that it'd be something like we've seen all season, but there's no shot. It's a playoff game.
I mean, playoff tickets in Levi Stadium, those have got to be a pretty penny.
They're definitely going to be some Lions fans to make the trip. Like, it feels like a once in a lifetime deal, considering it has been a 32-year drought since the last NFC Championship game, and the one before that was never. So 1 in 60 years. I think you could by definition call that once in a lifetime.
How am I not myself $600 standing room tickets? Guess what? That's cheap compared to Ford Field.
Yeah, the flights are what's going to kill you. And I did a connecting flight because I think it would have cost me $800 this morning to do a direct flight. And now I bet it's well over 1,000. So maybe get driving.
Rent a car. Yeah.
By my estimation, and doing Toledo to LA, it should take you about like 4 days. You'll be there in time.
Do we know what Debo's deal is?
Like his
shoulder, right?
Yeah, but he had fractured that same shoulder earlier in the year,
and he missed like weeks, plural.
Yeah.
Let's see here. 8 hours ago, 49ers web zone. Michael Irvin provides. Why is Michael Irvin giving an update? Kyle Shanahan said after the game, I don't know yet. I mean, he tried to come back, couldn't do it. I know he did something similar versus Cleveland, so we'll see tomorrow.
Well, the Lions are going to have some things to figure out on their own, too. It sounds like they'll probably not have Jonah. They're definitely not going to have Brock Wright, who broke his forearm.
Missed that.
And that
tight end is very thin.
Yeah, that leaves them really with two.
And Fersker, right?
Yeah, because James Mitchell's on IR. His season's over. So yeah, the Lions are gonna have to add one. Like I don't think there's another guy on the practice squad. So
still down Raymond as well.
Yeah, everyone wants Zach Ertz.
Oh my gosh, dude! Everybody loves Raymond. The Lions need Raymond back so bad.
Can you have not just said everybody loves Raymond?
That's exactly what I was going for.
I mean, hey, maybe next week is finally James Houston week.
That's a whole other topic. but the Raymond stuff is so real and tangible, though. Like, you can even feel it in the offense sometimes. Like, there's like, oh, that like, there's usually like a play or two that like Leaf can spark, and then in punt return too. Like, DPJ, love you, man, but there was that punt return where he had a seam and it looked like the batteries in his controller died.
Oh no.
He was fine.
I want to bring up two things, if you may let me. I know I've talked a lot, so I apologize. Sorry, I'm trying to find this here earlier. Did you guys see the massive sandwich that someone had?
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea what that is. I don't think they sell that.
I think Ryan, you said that it has to be called the Taylor Decker.
Yeah, the Taylor Decker Club. Yeah.
Someone on Discord, I think, called it a Scooby-Doo ass sandwich. Something Shaggy.
It looks like it looks like it's sitting in like a piece of Tupperware.
He is holding it like it's a sword in Game of Thrones on a throne.
It just looks like it's sitting in a piece of Tupperware, though. Like, I don't understand. Did they bring all? Did they sneak all the ingredients in, and then like form the sandwich?
Did
someone they get food in Tupperware through Ford Field security?
They had a sandwich party in Ford Field. Oh my, yeah. I guess they did. I see the Tupperware container clearly there. That is, for those who don't know what's. I'll show it later before I log off. Anyway, or I'll just retweet it now from my Twitter account. You guys can go see it there at Chris Raffett. The other thing I wanted to say is, oh shit, I even forgot what I was going to say now. I was so distracted by the sandwich. Debo,
understandably so.
Debo.
I have two questions. One, did Brock Wright, did he suffer his injury on the reception that he had?
I don't know.
Someone says,
because my goodness, everybody in front of my TV was screaming, "Hold on to the ball," because there was that Buccaneers defender that was just
coming from behind. Yeah,
coming from behind, and it was like, oh man, it was immediately in that moment. I'm like Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the TV, like for the Brock Wright drag from from the Jets game last year. I'm like, whoa, whoop, whoop.
That's crazy though. That it literally the exact same
pull
play.
that out. Pull it out, same play. Dust it off.
I've kind of been a little bit disappointed at the lack of trick plays, but like next week feels like the week to bring it out. Like you're underdogs, you're on the road.
Oh yeah, you're swinging.
Just do a better fake punt than what Buffalo tried, please.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It was bad.
And then what's the other? Craig Reynolds, 4th and goal. Like,
who would have seen that coming, man?
I love.
Like, why is Craig Reynolds even in the game? And they're like, yeah. First of all, they get down to the 1 yard line on 2nd down, and then they're just like playing with their dicks. I don't like. What are you doing on 1st and 2nd and 3rd down? Like, you are at the doorstep. Stop messing around. You have the human bowling ball in David Montgomery, and I don't even remember what those two plays were, but I'm just like, stop playing with your food and get in the damn end zone. And the answer to that was running it to Craig Reynolds on 4th and goal.
They just assumed that there was no way he was getting the ball, right? Because he got in so effortlessly.
Right.
Like,
someone got to the bottom of this, apparently. This is apparently a $250 sandwich called the 50-yard sub sandwich bar.
From inside the stadium?
Is this inside? I'm trying to
I reject this. I've never heard of this.
Someone has the link for it. I'm just trying to find. Like they have it on the menu. It looks like it's from the Lions. Let's see here. Grober's 3-foot sub sandwich, provolone, mortadella, ham, salami, turkey, lettuce, tomato, shaved red onions, choice of toppings, including blah 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 blah. Served at halftime. So yeah, this was at Ford Field.
I'm sorry. It may be true. I don't believe it.
It's a big sandwich.
Choosing not to believe it.
Sandwich truther.
Sandwich.
I did see that Ben Ben Johnson did interview with the Falcons tonight.
Just whipping your dick out on a stream. Like, how about that?
Oh, man, that's a workplace violation.
Someone's saying it's a Lions Loyal exclusive thing, the sandwich. Sorry, I'll get off the sandwich in a second. Journalism brain is going.
You got about 15 more comments I'll lend you about the sandwich.
Look, that's been all what I'm doing this week is journalism and about food. SB Nation article coming soon. We'll explain. What about that flip from C.J. Gardner-Johnson? Did you flipping the ball back to Baker Mayfield?
It's an appropriate amount of petty.
He is a psychopath I have not seen since the likes of like Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah, except CJ seems more unhinged.
Yes. He fits that wild card role very well, but yes, he is more unhinged.
Yeah, he's more chaotic. I feel like Rasheed was more controlled fury, to borrow some Dan Campbell, but CJ Gardner-Johnson, he tiptoes. You know what I mean?
I was actually very shocked. I think it was Kirby Joseph. I swore he was going to get called for standing over a guy over Baker after he had hit him, I think.
Yeah.
Or was it a receiver?
It was a receiver, yeah.
He stood over there, and I was like,
or might have been a tight end.
But it looked like he was about to get flagged for, he was standing over him and flexing, and I'm like, oh no, please get away.
There was nothing more I could have wanted other than Trey Palmer to not have a big game today. And when he caught that ball early in the first quarter, I immediately thought about KJ Osborne. And I was like, damn it, Jeremy, dude. Like all week you've been like, I don't know, Trey Palmer's pretty fast. And he had like a couple opportunities, and then that happens. And I was like, don't KJ Osborne this.
He only finished with 2 for 32, so.
He did, yeah. Yeah. It felt like they were doing a lot to get was it Tompkins, right? Like I felt like they brought him in for some plays, some packages.
I don't even know who that is.
The other
0 catches on 1 target.
Yeah, but I felt like
sounds like he sucked.
Yeah, no, he didn't help them win because they lost. Hashtag analysis. But I want to go. The last thing I want to say though is positional value with a capital P.
Gibbs was incredible today,
Gibbs,
dude.
Man,
like
Gibbs.
The shot of him stiff arming and staring into the camera is one of the coldest photos I've ever seen in my entire life.
I don't know if I've seen that.
Wait, is it like gosh, I'm trying to remember? It wasn't like a Heisman pose, was it? It was, but like he.
No, he's literally as he's stiff arming and going into the end zone.
Oh, I see. I remember.
He is staring into the camera.
Can someone send that to me somewhere?
I'm sending it to you right now.
Yeah, send it to me too. Maybe I put it up on the screen.
I'm putting it up on Slack right now.
Hell yeah.
I should also go soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some Taco Bell here in a bit. It's a Taco Bell night.
That's pretty good.
Dude, look how he's holding the ball. Like he just has his hand over the top of it.
It's like sitting against his hip.
Yeah.
That is the definition of
casual.
What was it? I don't know.
Clasp.
$10,000 chain.
10-cent clasp.
I really cannot remember what I wanted to say earlier.
Was it something about a sandwich?
No, it wasn't about the sandwich. I did see that Bob Seger was there.
Italian BMT. You're damn right he was.
Lions undefeated in NFC divisional games with Bob Seger there. I don't know if that's true. It's possible that's not true. He could have been there.
He could have been there in 93.
I'm just saying, you think about it. Think about it. Who has a very big cover of Turn the Page? One of the greatest songs ever written. You know who it is? Metallica. Dan Campbell's favorite band? That's right.
Do you like that version better? Ryan?
Both are good versions.
It sucks that the Super Bowl halftime performance isn't going to be any fun while the Lions are getting ready for the second half.
Who is it? I don't even know who it is.
It's Usher.
I hope he sings that song. Yeah.
It's a staple at every high school dance. Still, it gets played every high school dance.
For some
along
reason,
with Lil Jon and the East Side Boys.
I was gonna say, actually, I don't know if they still do it there, but for slow dance, do they still do Boys to Men End of the Road?
No, they don't.
Because I know for some reason on the radio this week, like End of the Road came up twice. Two different shows.
Bunch of old men reminiscing about 90s R&B.
Yeah, the Lions are one of the 4 remaining teams in the playoffs.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
You know who
Pretty cool, man.
The Cowboys.
The Packers.
The Packers. What's
you know
Jordan Love doing? What's he doing?
I'm going to throw the Vikings in there, too, because their fans have been real big bitches lately. I'm not going to lie. I don't know what's gotten into them, but
they're going to point to so many videos of Tampa Bay defenders getting carted off saying, see, I knew they were dirty.
It's crazy because I went into this season thinking, like, I've never had an issue with Vikings fans. Vikings fans are super fun. Like, I went to a Lions-Vikings game in Minnesota, and after the Lions won that game, I have never gotten so many, yo, that was a pretty good game y'all had. That was really fun. For a second, I tried to do a Minnesota accent, and I immediately bailed on it. I immediately bailed on it.
That reminds me, it's not on the Twitch, but I did add an FTV to the Discord finally because of the Vikings fans that we have been encountering.
There was one today, and I'm not actually mad at it. I think it's hilarious, like how salty they are now, and I'm not like I would never quote tweet them or get mad at because it's parody at this point. But there's this one Viking account like, this is the biggest Mickey Mouse team, and he literally put like a Mickey Mouse head over a Lions helmet. And it's just like, oh, they beat this Rams team that had no business. Now they beat a 9-8 team. Oh, congratulations! And now you're in the and if this is so fraudulent.
Cope, seethe, mauled.
It's funny because your fraudulent-ass team didn't win a playoff game last year. You lost to the fucking Giants in the playoffs.
That's right. They did lose to the Vikings.
How many wins did the Giants have this year?
That's right. Your ass lost to Daniel Jones.
You're the reason. The Vikings fans are the reason that Daniel Jones got a bag.
Okay. Well, we have one of those too.
Hey man, Matt Flynn is very happy with them. He admits as much. Like, I love seeing people bring that up to Matt Flynn because Matt Flynn's got no shame. Like, he's like, yeah, hell yeah, they paid me. I'm glad they did.
But you know what? The Lions don't do that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, Desmond Ridder didn't have a game.
True.
We did give some juice to Justin Field, but
Fields is good. Good category. I don't know what category that Cam Newton would put him in. But
Amon Ra is on SVP right now. That man.
Well, we definitely can't stream that. We've probably already broken some rules. We're not going to live stream. But for those of you that want to watch that, you can tune in right now.
This was
or record it right now and continue to watch us, even though I think we're probably nearing an end.
We're getting the end and I'm getting hungry. Golden Tate weighed in. Wow. I can't believe it. People in Detroit have waited for their entire lives for just a playoff win. Now we are on our way to the NFC Championship. So happy for the city. One of the coolest things that I think, we talked about this a little bit last week, guys, but like it's very cool to see how the Lions have kind of brought in so many former players, like, and tried to just make a community out of all of this. Like, we talked about Kerryon Johnson, Golden Tate, Calvin Johnson. You hope you.
Did you see what? Did you see Tyrell Crosby today on Twitter?
I did not.
Tyrell Crosby was like retweeting Frank's foundation and was like, Frank's the best. Like, you guys should all donate to Frank's foundation. And like, even with all the stuff that You know what I mean? Like even all the stuff that Crosby's gone through, like I don't know. My favorite was Snacks. Did you guys see Snacks' tweet?
Probably. I put a bunch of them into a post and made a post out of it, and it's killing.
He said, "Hey, I played with the Detroit Patriots. Can I get a division winner shirt for my troubles?"
Oh, I didn't see that one.
And then tagged at Lions.
That's pretty great.
That's cool, man. That's cool. That's the kind of stuff that matters. Like this kind
like Snacks did not leave on good terms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even players that quote unquote didn't leave. I mean, I'm at this point I'm waiting for Robert Ayers to come out and say something.
I'll say this. If I see one particular guy who I know of in the media who has slandered, who is a former player, played for the Lions, who has slandered the Lions to my face before, if I do see him jumping on the Lions wagon, I might finally drop the name. I talked about him a while back. I think Jeremy and Ryan both know who it is, but it would be funny. It would be very funny. And you know what? He's welcome. He's welcome to. If he wants to bury the hatchet, then that is more than happy for everyone to jump on board. Because this is cool. And people want to be a part of something that's cool. And empowering to players who want to be coaches and be part of this community.
Man. And this team really hasn't even done much in free agency. You know what I mean? This team hasn't made a trade like going and getting a Jalen Ramsey or anything. Like Jeremy said, they're at the beginning of their window. Like there's all that fun stuff that's still going to happen.
But to be fair, they should have done more at the trade deadline.
Sweat made a big difference this weekend.
Good times. Should we get out of here?
I love this. I just want to say before we get out of here, I love this. I love you guys. We've gone through so much shit, man. Like, we're on year 9 of PODcast, and I don't know when we started streaming, but, like, I just want to say before we get off here, I'm eternally grateful for both of you and for everyone who's watching us on Twitch and YouTube. I could not, there was a 3-car pileup, and I was just like, please get out of my way so I can go home and do this. Because I want to be with everyone else in this moment right now. This is that cool. And I'm going to keep saying that line I've said all night. This is that cool. And I'm living in this moment right now. Being able to commentate on sports, do basically a radio show / podcast, and be a fan and be happy about being a fan and don't sound psychotic or defensive the whole time. I feel like I'm a fan celebrating. Like, this is cool.
Dude, just go do mundane stuff. It'll be a blast. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna go get some enchilada burritos from Taco Bell.
Pop some Pop-Tarts in the toaster. And it's like, man, I've never popped Pop-Tarts in the toaster with my team in the NFC Championship game.
Recording
I
stopped.
forgot to stop that, yeah.
Excuse me.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, we are going to wrap up shop here.
Guys,
don't think there's
don't go to
anyone
bed.
online.
That's my current advice. Just don't go to bed tonight. Just look at yourself in the mirror and see that big ass smile on your face, and just cackle like the fucking Joker.
Share that smile with someone. That's my suggestion. Share that smile with someone in your life.
Liam, no excuses. I don't care where you are. I don't care what time it is. 3:45, 1:45, other 45s, Colt 45s.
You heard Jeremy. Go to your nearest mirror
Go drink.
and cackle in it.
Drink a Colt
the same way
45.
that CJ probably cackled on the sideline tossing the ball back to Baker Mayfield.
Go make some Honolulu Blue Kool-Aid. I see everyone else is now jumping on the wagon making the Kool-Aid recipes.
Fun stuff. All right.
Jump on, get some Kool-Aid. Jason Cabinda 45. All right, we're gonna log it off here. Goodbye, guys. See you Starside.